All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Roundtable 103, the 2 year anniversary. Joined by D Style as always, and the mighty Ring IQ is here, and Vivo Manny
Papa.
from the Vivo podcast,
Salud.
and UK's finest Base the Kid is in the house. And we had a crazy weekend this weekend. Like last couple weeks, very little fights, if any, and they just smashed us all in 1 week, and they crammed them all. This week we got nothing. So I mean, boxing needs to learn how to spread this shit out, man, because freaking trying to watch all these fights, DVRing, waking up in the morning trying to catch them, it's a pain in the ass. But I want to start with the ladies because this was the card of the weekend, in my opinion. And the fight that I really enjoyed, I enjoyed both fights on the top of the card here, but the most intriguing one to me and the most surprising one to me was the Alycia Baumgardner, Mikaela Mayer. A lot of people had this as a 50-50 fight. I didn't have this as a 50-50 fight. I thought Mayer was going to win this convincingly, and I was really, really wrong here. I had the fight a draw, but put a gun to my head. I think you could probably edge it to Baumgardner. But yeah, she definitely impressed the hell out of me. Ring, you saw this coming all along. I just want to, get your thoughts on this and talk about who you had winning and why.
Oh, I gave the first 3 rounds. I gave them to Baumgartner. 4, 5, and 6. I gave to Mayer. 7 and 8. I gave to Baumgartner. 9. I gave to Mayer. 10. I gave to Baumgartner. And the main thing I saw that bothered Mikaela, there were 2 things that bothered Mikaela. One was the speed, and one was Alycia countering the jab with the right hand. Because Mikaela Mayer's money punch is the jab. Everything is off the jab. She sets everything up off the jab. And when Alycia started off looking to counter the jab with the right hand, that really threw her off because she's not accustomed to that. She's just not accustomed to somebody being fast enough to counter her jab and having that kind of power. So in the first 3, you could see that it was bothering her. By 4, she made an adjustment. She upped the tempo. She swept 3 rounds after that. But then, there were ebbs and flows. But for my money, it was about 6-4 Baumgartner. Not a hard fight to score. Not really.
Gotcha. Manny, what did you think of this fight? Very, very intriguing fight.
It really was. First of all, we had a showdown in the afternoon light, so that was great. All day boxing, man. Spent more than 10 hours watching boxing. But anyway, this is great, and it's already here. We have nothing this weekend, but that's the nature of it. But I do agree. I think Alycia started pretty strong in the first round. That was a round that she set up that tempo and that pace. You did see Mayer. You're absolutely right. I mean, she was very uncomfortable at times until she got into a rhythm. But sometimes at the end of the round, it was a little too late. And I did see Mayer winning this fight. But when I got to watch things over and over again. So I watched it a couple more times, and then it was a draw. I think there's a couple of rounds that are like key into this. First round obviously was Alycia. The 8th round and the 10th round were 2 rounds a little bit difficult, especially that 8th round. That could have gone anywhere. So for me, man, it was great. Two women at their best. A lot of trash talking. I've never seen a true hate rivalry between these 2 girls, and you can see that the press conference and everything. It was just real. It's not fake. It wasn't anything to up the fight because they weren't even the main event. They were the co-main event. So there's nothing to sell about. Claressa Shields was selling everything pretty much, and with the main event. But they did their best, man. And I think it's, for me, in my eyes, I think it's worthy of another opportunity because that fight could have gone either way. I've heard a lot of robberies. When a fight is close, guys, that's not a robbery. That could have gone either way. People think that Alycia won it. People think Mayer won it. Some people think it is a draw, but it is what it is. Judges call it an Alycia, and it was a great week for it. I just hope there is a rematch, which I doubt it.
I just want to say this. For the people that think it's a robbery, What they need to realize is Alycia was the away fighter. They're not going to give the away fighter a gift. You know, they had no reason to do Alycia any favors. And I feel that she was able to go over there and win a decision in what's basically Mikaela's neck of the woods. It's more Mikaela's neck of the woods than it is Alycia's, because boxers linked to Top Rank and ESPN. So when I hear people say robbery, you know, because I saw how people reacted after the fight on social media, and they were saying robbery, and I'm like, are you thinking about what you're saying? They're going to rob the house fighter to gift Alycia? That doesn't make that, you know, that's really not how that happens, and that's not how that works. But, you know, boxing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I mean, Top Rank was the house promoter, and that's you know, Mayer's promoter. So it was the stage was set, if anything, for Mayer to get to the victory, not Baumgardner. I agree with that wholeheartedly. D-Star, what'd you think of this fight, man?
Well, let me first start with when people say robbery. Now, first of all, let me make this clear. Do I think this was a robbery? No. I do honestly feel this fight could have been easily a draw or 6-4 either way, right? And I'll even say that the judge that had it 7-3 for Mikaela was a little off for sure, right? That's definitely 6-4. Okay, cool. But like, I don't know about 7-3. But with that said, like, I don't have an issue with Baumgardner winning the fight. You know what I mean? I don't have an issue with that, because you could definitely score it for her. I respectfully disagree. I feel Mikaela Mayer won this fight. Very close, though. Okay, a very close fight, right? And you see it. One judge had it one way, the two saw it another way, right? Now, when people say robbery, I think, I don't want to play semantics with the word, but what most people are saying is, I disagree with that decision. I think it's in my opinion, this fighter won, right? So, of course, there's no apparatus. Like Matchroom had nothing to do with this card. Eddie Hearn didn't have any. He couldn't, like, you know, influence anybody. So I don't think there was any, you know, mafia type shit going on to help, you know, in a woman's fight to help Baumgardner win this fight. I don't think there was some shit going on, right? But I think what people mean is that they disagree with this decision, right? And you don't necessarily, a house fighter, in my opinion, can get shafted, right? Because if the three judges either don't know what they're seeing, aren't judging properly. One example I could give you is, even though they were both top-ranked fighters, everyone knows Pacquiao was the star, right? And when he fought Timothy Bradley, they somehow gave the fight to Timothy Bradley. And it didn't quite make sense to anybody, right? But, you know, those things happen. Now, granted, to me, this was way closer and could have gone either way, right? What I want, however, is the following, all right? Me, I want to see a rematch, all right? That's what I want to see. Alycia Baumgardner is, and look, she has every right to do it, by the way. But you know, she's having her victory lap. Somebody needs to give her the Olympic torch, because she ain't going to stop running. Okay, that's one way she could make the Olympics, with a torch, because she ain't running, she ain't stopping those victory laps worth for nothing. All right, but if, like, okay, cool, you're celebrating, but I want to see a rematch. It doesn't need to be immediately. It doesn't have to happen right away. Okay, I don't have a problem if she says, "Yo, I'm going to fight Choi for undisputed." Cool. She beats Choi. One of Choi's best wins is against a bantamweight. It is what it is. Okay, but so I believe she wins that fight. That's an easier fight for Baumgardner, in my opinion. You know, anything could happen in boxing. You never know, but you never know, man. Don't count out the Godfather. Don't count him out. They might make Choi, I have an offer you can't refuse. Do not count out the Godfather, because a power move for Top Rank would be to somehow find a way to get Choi to get in the ring with Baumgardner. I'm sorry, with Mayer. Mayer may have to go to Korea to do it. Okay, but if she grabs that belt, then at that point you could tell Baumgardner, "Yo, well, you want undisputed, right? Well, I got this belt now. I got the WBA, so let's do it." That is the one way. You may have to overpay Choi. There's no doubt in my mind. You're gonna have to give her extra money, because Mayer's not bringing any belt to the table, but that's one path to get the rematch. And I wouldn't count the Godfather out. I'm just saying, all right? But I want to see a rematch. And if Baumgardner gets the fight, I think she beats Choi. Fuck it, then let's do it. You could do the rematch then, but I want to see a rematch at some point.
It just bummed out from the Mayor's side that she has to go through that whole loophole to try to get another opportunity. And she fought a well fight. I mean, she did all she could, and she overcame a lot. And we did see a lot of good stuff from her on her end. But at the end of the day, the judges didn't favor her. So kind of bummed out.
I want to address El Chingon. Yeah, there was an away fighter there because Baumgardner's not affiliated with either promotional outfit. She's not affiliated with Top Rank. She's not affiliated with Boxer. She's a matchroom fighter, so she was the away fighter. Yeah. She's not affiliated with either promotion. So the idea that the judges would favor her in any way, aside from they just think she won more rounds. And like I said, it wasn't a hard fight to score, to be completely honest. Like, all I saw from Mayer was output, but you weren't always landing. Like, yeah, you threw a lot of shit, but maybe it's because I've seen so many of her fights that I know what a Mayer fight looks like. I know what happens. And for the first time in a long time, well, for the first time really ever, she looked really uncomfortable. She looked really ineffective. She looked really tentative because she's used to stepping into that jab and painting the other girl's face like she did Jennifer Hahn. And with Alycia, she had to take her time because she knew she's timing my jab to hit me with this right hand. And in the seventh, she really turned up on Mikaela. She doubled up on her own jab. She put together 3-4 punch combination. It's like, it wasn't a hard fight to score, to be honest. Like, it just wasn't. Like, that one was a lot easier for me to score than the main event. Like, yeah, 6'4" Baumgardner. Easy.
Yeah. Face, what did you think, man? Did you ever go into this? This was in your backyard, man.
Yeah, I was there. So just before, obviously, I'd give my quick thoughts on it. With regards to Troy and Mayer trying to get that Troy fight, Troy is still technically signed to Matchroom, so they're never going to do Mayer any type of favor over Baumgardner, who wants the undisputed fight right now. And Alycia was on the DAZN show on Tuesday, saying no, she'll give her the rematch when she's ready on her terms. So that's all it is. Like, Mayer's just gonna have to wait. And she said that I'll probably see her at 135 and we'll get it on there down the line or something. So yeah, that's with regards to that. Now, interestingly enough, this is where I will slightly give the judge that was ringside that gave it to Mayer some leeway, because I was in attendance and I was actually sitting directly behind Mikaela Mayer's ring post, where my seats were, and I sent the footage to Ring so he could tell you. From there, I actually, in the arena, I had it scored 97-93 to Mayer, and I wasn't happy about that score because I was rooting for Alycia to win the fight. There was a lot of stuff that Alycia was doing I couldn't actually see. Some of the shots I couldn't see landing, a lot of them. The most telling thing that I was able to see a lot of the time was Mikaela's jab sort of landing from like the third round on. So the first couple gave to Alycia easy from where I could see those. Everything after that was a little bit more, it was harder to spot. And especially once Alicia's hair came out of the bun, that also was very deceptive, because a lot of the time I'm seeing like the water flying off the back of her hair if she's moving her head, or if maybe she's getting hit with a jab. So it just looked a lot more like Mikaela Mayer was winning the fight. And I kept saying on Twitter, Alycia, like, she needs to increase the work rate because she's the away fighter. So I keep thinking in my head, you don't have the opportunity to coast in this fight. But when the scorecards read out, like, I was up in arms. I was cheering. I had some American people next to me. Like, we was all going crazy. It was a beautiful thing. So then I watch it on the TV, and I'm like, oh no, this is a much more clean-cut fight for Alycia. I see exactly how she's won this, and the fact that they've only given it to her by a point definitely means that she's won this, because they gave everything they could to Mikaela Mayer in that instance. I've watched it with commentary, the Sky commentary, which was horrendous. I've watched it without commentary, and I've watched it with the ESPN commentary, which was actually very well balanced, to be totally fair to them and to give them their credit, considering Mikaela is their person and their fighter. So yeah, on reflection of watching it on the second time on TV, like, yes, it was not a hard fight to score. I had the exact same exact same scorecard as Ring did. So yeah, the right person won. The right person had to dig deep to win. But again, I still would have liked for them to maybe make it a bit more emphatic, because that's the reason why a lot of the crowd were so up in arms. Number one, they all thought they was all there like a Mikaela fan anyway, because she commentates on Sky. She's been here. She came out to Spice Girls. She was the crowd favorite at that moment.
Base, can you let Chingong know who the house fighter was?
Yeah, Chingo, like Mikaela Mayer was clearly the house fighter. She fights on Top Rank. She commentates with Sky. She goes over very regularly to commentate on women's fights for Sky. She had all the house programming for Sky and for Top Rank in the UK. All we saw was stuff for her. We very rarely saw any promotion for Alycia, and especially after the actual when they had the break, the 5-week delay. There was absolutely nothing there for Alycia except for when they did the face off between her and Mikaela Mayer. The house fighter was quite clearly Mikaela Mayer throughout this whole thing. And if you listen to the UK commentary, you will know exactly who they were picking to win that fight. It's not even
exactly
close.
And just to add to it, like, it doesn't take, you ain't got to be motherfucking Steve Farhood to know who sent who the contract or whose show it was. It was more a Top Rank show than a damn Matchroom show. That's why you had ESPN commentating, Tim Bradley, Andre Ward. It's not hard to figure out who the house fighter was.
Yeah, I will say, look, this coming from somebody that thought Mikaela Mayer won, I still feel that way, but she was the house fighter. Like, that's...
It's a house fighter. It's not complex.
Not only that, too. Baumgardner was a 3-1 underdog. A lot of people weren't giving her credit. I just didn't think she was going to win, and I give her all the credit in the world. And I think she had a chip on her shoulder, and she felt slighted going into this fight. That's why she's acting this way afterwards, and I get it, because no one gave her. Very few people were picking her to win, right? A lot of people were favoring Mayer. A lot of people wanted Baumgardner to win, but they weren't picking her to win. Ring, I know you did. You were emphatic about it before. I know you. Base, I don't know where you were before the fight, but I mean, most of the people I talked to were picking Mayer, and Mayer really didn't want this fight right like originally either, because she kept saying she wanted to fight Choi. She was looking for unification, right? So Baumgardner kind of had to be loud to get this fight. Kind of, she had to stir.
Well, it's more like this. It's more like this, B. But it's a simple situation, because I see there's a lot of confusion in the comments there shouldn't be. Tim Bradley and Andre Ward were commentating on the ESPN feed. They were. So I don't know how you could have missed that. Moreover, Mayer sent Baumgardner the contract, guys. Yeah. She's the house fighter. This is not rocket science. So you already, like you got to be slow to not know. All right, this was more a Top Rank. This Matchroom had nothing to do with this show. It had nothing to do with this show. The house fighter was Mikaela. So when I see the 3-1 underdog win a decision on a promotion that is not her own promotion, there's no robbery, bro. It's probably, and I don't mean this at D-Styles, because D-Styles has a point. So does Base. Round 3 was a round that I felt was a swing round. Could have gave that round to Mikaela, but I swung it to Alycia. But you could have given it to Mikaela. If you give it to Mikaela, it's a draw. So I'm not even in disagreement that the fight was close. But the idea that it was a robbery, it's like, bro, there's no robbery, because if they were going to rob somebody, it would be Alycia, not Mikaela. Mikaela has all the advantages. It's common sense. Same as men's boxing.
So in your perspective, if the decision would have gone the different way, all right, it would have gone to Mayer, the house fighter. You
sometimes
saw it. Is that would have been? Would you have think it was a robbery the way you saw it, the way it went, but it went to the judges on the other hand?
The truth, bro. When the fight was over, I looked down at my scorecard and I said 6-4. And because I'm cynical, 6-4 is not enough in my book. I need 7-3. To be sure.
Exactly.
Because that's how I score every fight. That, I could have it 6-4, but I could be off by a round. Moreover, politics in boxing, they're a real thing. If it's 6-4, it could be 5-5. If it's 6-4, if I have it that way. So the way I looked at it, I have Baumgardner winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a draw. I have Baumgardner winning, but it could be a draw. Could be.
Here's another thing. Just I'm sorry, really quick. So sometimes there's no like schemes, or it's just three honest people that sat down and scored the fight. That's all it is most of the time, right? And sometimes we agree, we disagree. That's why there's three judges, right? That's why they have three of them, not just one, right? Because there's going to be disagreement here and there. But I will say that like that's as much as I'll go. But one more quick point. This is an example of a fight that, just in my opinion, these two girls proved that they're good enough boxers and athletes that they could have done 3-minute rounds, right? Yeah, and I think this is one of those fights, just my opinion, where we could have used 3-minute rounds. Like it just was one of those fights.
I felt it. So every time the action was popping in, well, round is over. It's like, wow. I mean, can we get some extra time here?
Yeah, there was a lot of and I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, there wasn't as much action as the main event." Well, first of all, the main event was just over the top in a good way, but fighters that are thinking in there, you need to give them that extra minute, like you just do, and I hope that if there's a rematch down the line, and they could do this theoretically, is maybe 2-3 minutes.
One would hope, but I like the 2-minute round personally because it forces them to fight. Most of the time you watch a women's match, there's none of the boring shit that you see with the guys. The 3 minutes of feel out rounds for the first 2-3 rounds. Nah, they get right at it, which I think helps to market the sport because it's fast paced. You see girls going at it from the opening bell. This was one of the few times that they didn't go at it from the opening bell. It was more cerebral. But what I like about the
tactical.
Sport, it was exactly. It was more tactical than, say, Shields versus Marshall. They got right to it in the first round, which was great. It was a great advertisement. But this was more technical. I do agree. I think this fight could have benefited from an additional minute, or I've seen this proposed 12 2-minute rounds, which isn't a bad idea. Like, that's not a bad idea.
Yep.
I'm just gonna say one thing, and I've said this 1,000 times. Every time the word robbery is thrown around, let's look at everyone's scorecards. Did everyone have identical 6 rounds that they gave to one fighter? And if the answer is no, if everyone has different rounds they gave to each fighter, then there's a different path to victory, right?
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Because this is a robbery. Or how'd you score it? Eric and I do this all the time. This is why we never call fights robberies, because a lot of times our scorecards, we'll have the same scorecard, but
different rounds.
Different rounds.
Yeah.
And I did this experiment. You remember, B, with when I said I thought the Maidana Mayweather fight was a draw. People said I was crazy, and I told them, "Well, give me your rounds." All the dudes that scored it for Floyd were giving me different rounds.
Now here's the thing. This is why I'm kind of, backtracking that whole Canelo Bivol thing, because I think everyone gave Canelo, I think it was round 9 that he won, right? Yeah. And then most people gave him like 2 of the first 4. But here's the thing: I gave Canelo 2 and 3. Eric gave him 1 and 4, and we both gave him 9.
And I gave him 2 and 3.
So 7-5 is not impossible.
Yeah,
in that fight.
Yeah,
Paulie Malignaggi had everyone believing it was impossible. But again, Paulie, let's ask you, Roy, and Antonio for the scorecards. And if you did not have all of the same rounds for Bivol, you all didn't have the same exact rounds that you gave for Bivol, then it's not a robbery. That it's not a bad score.
I mean, I seldom use that word myself. Like, I'll say, okay, and according to Hoyle, robbery in my book, Parker versus Chisora 1, that was a robbery. Chocolatito versus Estrada 2, that was a robbery. Those were fights where, before the judges' scorecards were read, I was fairly confident of what the result was. And when I heard it, I'm like, that can't be. Like, no fucking way, bro.
Listen, I'm very careful, and I don't scorecard shame anybody, because to this day, I still will tell everyone I had Bradley beating Pacquiao 7-5. And every time I say it, people look at me like I'm friggin' I belong at a mental institution. But that's what I saw. That's what I saw. I mean,
yeah.
I'm listening to that
scoring isn't an exact science. It really isn't. But the most I can say is usually my scorecard is pretty consistent with what the outcome will be. That's the most I can say. Usually, the way I score a fight, that's how the judges have it. Like I was watching Dubois versus Joyce, and a lot of people gave me shit, but I'm like, look, I have Dubois up. That's all I'm saying. At the time,
I had Dubois. I had
him up.
I had Dubois, and a lot of people were giving me shit about him. Like, look, I'm not.
He was landing bombs on this dude. He didn't do anything to him, but he was landing bombs.
Exactly, and that's the point I was making. That look, whether Joe Joyce is taking the punches great or not is not the point. This kid is scoring, bro. He's scoring.
Don't get me wrong. Joyce was catching up.
Yeah,
but I had Dubois. I think I had Dubois up by like a point or something like that. But he was up.
Yeah,
the hammer fist jab.
And then when the scorecards came back, I rarely gloat, but I had to gloat because I was getting so much shit. Like, look, I have him up. If he would have got up and he would have just coasted the last round or two, because I think he got stopped in the 11th. If he would have just coasted, man, he would have got a gift, man. I'm telling you, he would have got a gift because everybody knew Frank was more invested in Daniel than he was in Joe.
I do. Well, one more point, and look, I do agree with, and I believe Calix feels the same way, that the 2-minute rounds makes women's boxing unique. It does make them fight. It picks up the pace. I just think that this is an exception to the rule. I do believe that Baumgardner Mayer, specific, not all women's boxing, that fight specifically would be a better fight if they had 3-minute rounds, in my opinion.
All right,
I agree.
So let's move on to the next one, because this fight was supposed to be arguably the best women's fight that could be made, right? And my question is, did this fight live up to the hype? Because this fight had a ton of hype. They were saying that this could potentially be better than Serrano Taylor. And I'm going to be honest, in my opinion, I thought it was equally as good. Some people can disagree that there may not have been as much drama, but for me, I just liked the pace of the fight. I didn't think there was a dull moment in this fight at all. I loved how both women really were fighting at a fast pace, and they were throwing hard punches, and they didn't fade at all. There was no one dipped there. No one had to really get a second win. It was just a fast paced fight from the first round to the 10th round, and I really loved it. So I'm going to ask you guys. We'll start with you, Manny. Do you think this fight lived up to the hype? Was it as good as advertised?
It was. For me, it was. I mean, I was expecting the same thing on the first fight, and I kind of got a little bit disappointed, because I wanted a little bit more because of the beef, because of the rivalry, because of all the trash talking they did. When you go to the main event, absolutely, it delivered. Did it deliver more than Serrano and Taylor? In my eyes, it didn't. It didn't. Now, another thing that I had to go back and watch, because when I saw the scorecards afterwards, I'm like, wow, people were commenting about that this was just like a blowout on Shields' side. I really didn't see it that way. When I saw it the second time, I probably looked at some of the rounds that, of course, every time I watch a fight, if I'm drinking or hanging out, I don't get to really focus and really kind of, measure the fight equally, right? Being kind of objective, taking away, who's the fighter my preference or not. But later on when I do watch that, then I think I did see it 7-3 for Shields. Shield displayed some toughness. I hate the fact that she can't jab too much. She did throw a lot, but she's just wanting people, she's just inviting people to come in. And Marshall just really surprised me. I never thought that she was I felt like she was a Margarito. The more you get hit, the more you come forward. It's like, when is this person going to back out? She was the hunter, not the hunted. And then, she still, Claressa was winning the fight at that point. So very interesting in that. But this is a great one of those fights that, if you were able to watch it, catch it up. I mean, this is something that goes for the ages. It is definitely, for me, a candidate of the year. But I do not think that it was better than Taylor and Serrano. Taylor and Serrano were just bumps away. Everyone was throwing. Claressa was just being a little bit just what do you call that? She was just throwing stuff there to see if I land. Sometimes she did, sometimes she does. A little bit sloppy, as I might say. But man, we got a treat that afternoon, and then ended up in the top notch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. Ring, did you think this fight lived up to the hype?
I did live up to the hype, but for me, Taylor Serrano was better, and I have to credit Amanda Serrano for that. because she was really able to she laid into Katie in those 2 rounds more than Claressa laid into Savannah and more than Savannah laid into Claressa. So that drama that Amanda created by drawing blood and almost stopping Taylor, that Taylor had to tie her up just to maintain her footing, that drama really brought it over the top, and that she was able to recover. It even felt like a longer fight than Shields and Savannah. It felt like a longer fight because it's like, yo, Katie about to get knocked out, and she found a way and figured it out, and not only survived but picked up some of the later rounds. So I'm like, Taylor versus Serrano nicks it, not by much because they were both great fights, but because of that drama, it was like, wow, dog, this is like a movie fight damn near. Like, they really going balls to the wall with this thing, man. So great fight though. Did live up to the hype. Definitely lived up to the hype.
Yeah. Base, you were there live. Was this fight closer than people think? Because I thought this fight was razor close. I'm going to be honest. I even thought Marshall nicked it, and I picked Shields to win wide, but I thought Marshall nicked it when I was watching this live, and I'm in the minority. Not taking anything away from Shields. I have no problem with her winning. I thought she nicked it. While you were watching it live, what was the atmosphere like there? Did people get the sense that when the scorecards were going to be announced that this was going to be kind of like a nail biter, or did they know in the crowd that Shields won this fight?
No, in the crowd, people, I mean, the majority of the crowd was Savannah Marshall. We're talking about 97% of the crowd were for Savannah Marshall. So anytime that she did anything remotely significant, the crowd was up in arms, especially with her knockout ratio and everything. They was all to, Claressa is going to be in trouble. Now, again, from my vantage point where I was, I scored it for Savannah Marshall. I had it 94, 96 for her at the end of the fight. But I said when I was there, it would be interesting to see the scorecards. I didn't pertain to, again, see every single thing because there's a lot of stuff that a lot of good work Claressa was doing from behind her ring post. There was times I missed some of the stuff that she was doing. All I could really see was Savannah backing her up onto the ropes, landing sort of heavy body shots, pitter-patters, obviously getting caught with counters as well for a lot of the time. But it was just a case of all I can see is you kind of keeping this person on the back foot, keep pushing them back, and you are landing. You may not be landing more throughout, but your shots look like they are having more impact, which is one of the same reasons why a lot of people think that Claressa swept the first 5 rounds, but I gave initially rounds 2 and 3 to Savannah because in the second round, she had the most impactful shot of the entire round, which knocks Claressa back like 4 steps onto the ropes, and then investing in the body kept her on the ropes, kept her back, and then did the very similar thing in the third. Watching it back on replay, like my scorecard, I then said, well, to be honest, I could have either had it 96, 95 to Claressa or 95, 96 to Savannah because I had an even round in there. If I'm not allowed to have even rounds, then a round that I previously gave to Savannah, I actually gave to Claressa, and then 1 round was a swing. So I said, well, you lot can swing that how you want. In that case, it's 96, 94 to Claressa, or it's a draw 95, 95. So watching it in the arena, for me, it was an incredibly close fight. Even watching it back on TV, it's like I feel like there's a lot of things because Claressa was doing a lot of eye-catching shots or doing there was a lot of sort of quick counters, maybe 2 or 3 shots that didn't have the same level of impact. They might have even been missing some of the hard body shots that Savannah was doing at the time, and vice versa, the other way around. So it was very nip and tuck as far as I'm concerned. I do feel at the end of it, the right person did win the fight. There are no excuses and no issues with that. But, for anyone to just say it was like a blowout, or even Claressa going on Twitter saying, oh, I won every round, maybe you can give her the 9th. I'm like, come on, Claressa, you won the fight. Let's not do this now, because essentially all I will say is the last 2 days, for instance, all I've seen people saying on Twitter, responding to like tweets from Claressa, is that you're literally losing every fan that you gained after that fight by what you're doing now. It's just it's beneath you. If you're as great as you are, you don't need to be gloating the way the way you are, like or going about things the way you are. And she's like, oh well, I'm gonna do this. You're gonna hear me talk about this till like January 2024. I was like, yeesh, and knowing her, she might actually do it. But yeah, in terms of the fight, like I said, it was a razor. To me, it was a razor close. I wouldn't have had a complaint. Anyone won. I wouldn't have had a complaint if it was a draw. But I do think Claressa Shields was the deserved winner upon the replay. So yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know she was doing that on Twitter, because that's very disappointing, and I'll tell you why, in my opinion. Because Savannah Marshall was the epitome of class after that fight, because she was the house fighter, and it was a close fight. She could have threw a tantrum if she wanted to, but she was the epitome of class. She went over there. She lifted up Claressa Shields' arm, and great fight, whatever. And yeah, that's disappointing to hear that.
Bad winner, man. Bad winner. You know, it happens. But I'll say one thing that made it a little nip and tuck for me, and I'm with Base on this. I'm cool with Claressa winning. It's just to say it was a blowout. That sounds weird to me, because a blowout would be you holding the center of the ring and walking her into counters. You weren't doing that. Every single round started off the same way. You're on the ropes, and you don't end up on the ropes on your own. You are put on the ropes. Somebody puts you there. So even if you're showing some eye-catching flurries and all that, you're the one with your back on the ropes. When are you going to get Savannah on the ropes to make this a blowout? And that's why I'm with Base. That, yeah, it's snip and tuck. Like, yes, Claressa's getting off some good shots, but you're still the fighter that's on the ropes. I don't see you shifting off those ropes and getting Savannah on those ropes and unloading on her. I don't see that. So, yeah, Claressa won. She won, but not by as much as people let on. Like, I just think ultimately people are being dramatic, which, you know, you have to deal with if you're a boxing fan.
And we've seen that same type of fight play out with two different fighters, and Marshall, that style she presented at that fight, in some instances has gotten the decision in other fights.
Yeah.
Again, this is the way I look at it. It's one thing if you're going to the ropes on your own volition and trying to set traps and draw the person in. But as you said, Ring, I believe you said this, I don't want to put words in your mouth, she was being forced to the ropes.
Yes.
I felt. That's what I felt. That's how I felt.
You're not backing like when she's backing up, there's incoming fire. You're backing up and there's incoming fire. It's not that you're sidling your way to the ropes, stepping to the ropes. You're backing up from the punches that are being thrown. Mm-hmm. And when you're on those ropes, she's still unloading punches. So it's like, you know, it just is what it is. It's boxing. You know, what are you going to do?
Gotcha. Shout out to Nando Lamos. He says, jab the like button, please. Yes, please. Jab the like button. D-Style Boxing, shout out to you, my man. This is Brother Joe Habib. Thank you so much. Calix, welcome, brother. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. Nice to have you.
How are y'all? Great panel.
What's going on, man? So, did this fight live up to the hype, in your opinion?
Oh no!
What are your thoughts on
it?
Don't
Don't be that guy, Calix.
Don't try to peer pressure him. Let him do what he wants. I know how you are, man. One of the other cool kid in school, man, that tries to get everyone to freaking win.
It depends on what the hype, what you consider the hype. If you consider the hype, the Katie Taylor fight, it fell short of that for me, definitely. Okay. However, good fight. And the main thing is when you have a night like this, a day like this here in America, Saturday was night over there, is you hope for no controversy. You hope for no controversy, and there was no controversy. I was completely fine with the scorecards. I thought both scorecards were good, and I thought that Mayer was going to beat Baumgardner. So it would be better for me to come on here and say I thought she won the fight, but I thought Baumgardner edged it out, and I was fine either way. And it was a good scorecard. It was a good scorecard. So I was fine with that. Was fine with the other fight. I thought Shields won the fight as well. I think I had it a little wider than you guys. I thought she outboxed Marshall. Marshall landed some big shots, though, and made it a fun fight. Each round was close, but I thought Shields was winning the majority of the fight, majority of the rounds. So, yeah, I mean, it lived up to the hype in that 18,000 plus. Did great numbers, especially over there. No controversy. And we move on, and we continue to grow women's boxing. And by the way, give a shout out, all the DAZN haters, give a shout out to DAZN because they're the ones who have ushered this in. and they've handed off the baton to other people, but they're the ones who have ushered this in. So, props to Trust Fund Eddie out there, and good. It was a good day of cards.
That's right. D-Star, what were your thoughts, man? Were you did you like this fight as much as the Taylor Serrano fight? Or
I love the fight. Let me tell you something. I like to put things in perspective. So, first of all, you guys seen the movie Troy? You know, at the very end, when the guy goes like, "I lived in the time." I'm gonna say I lived in the time of Achilles. I lived in the time of Hector. I lived in the time of Shields and Marshall. Okay, like I got to witness this fight. And I could appreciate this fight. I really can. And I'll tell you why, in all seriousness. I can overlook whatever Shields is saying and it annoys people. But at the end of the day, I judge fighters by what they do in the ring. That's what I judge them by. I said going into this fight that look, I've witnessed 12 wipeouts before. This was not one, right? This was someone who pushed her to another level. And look, I seen, Katie, as great as she is, and I still think she's number one pound for pound, because I think she's fought the best opposition overall, right? But I seen her in trouble against Pursuit. I seen her hurt. I seen her overcome obstacles. I seen her, do those things before. And that's what makes Katie Taylor great. I never seen like Shields, and it's not her fault, but there just wasn't that level of opposition for her like there was for Katie Taylor. There just wasn't. It's not her fault, but there just wasn't. You know what I mean? That's why she kept moving down a weight class, like looking for someone. She found her Hector. Like she found someone that was going to push her. And I said before this fight that I learned something about Shields when she went to MMA. Someone she's not an MMA fighter. And a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt took her down. 99.9% of boxers, it's over. Okay? It's over. But she got out of dominant positions in an MMA fight, not because she knew she had technique and knew Jiu-Jitsu and wrestling, and it was all dog. It was all willpower. And then she got her in an old-fashioned headlock and just pounded her head in. That wasn't technique. That was just like, bitch, I'm going to get you in a headlock and pound the shit out of you, and made her tap the fuck out. And then we get jackasses. Well, who was that? She wasn't a top MMA fighter. Jackasses. You get in there with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belt, you get turned into a fucking pretzel. Okay? Okay, she got out of that shit. You know what she showed me? She showed me something about herself. And I said, no one in boxing has come close to taking her to that place. Savannah Marshall, she said, I couldn't see out of my fucking right eye because she could fucking punch. Savannah Marshall took her to that fucking place, and she had to dig deep into the fucking basement. And that's what I fucking saw, right? Going in, I said, my analysis was completely wrong. I thought she was going to resort to just 1-2s and 1s, and that's it throughout the whole fucking fight. I thought as soon as she feels Savannah's power, she ain't going to be slugging it in with her, and she did. And you know why? Because she had to. She knew she had to. Savannah took her somewhere she didn't want to be. And you know what? She fought out of it, and I give her nothing but credit for that. And despite what she says on social media and Twitter, I'll look over it, because what she showed me that night, she showed me a lot of heart. She showed me grit. She showed me, like, she showed us she has that. And I got to see Savannah Marshall versus Claressa Shields. I didn't get to see Ann Wolf versus Layla Ali. I didn't get to see Christy Martin against Lucia Riker. But I got to see this fight, and I'm thankful for that. And I think Savannah took her somewhere. And for her to admit I couldn't see out of a fucking eye for the last 4 rounds shows me a lot about her. And let me tell you, Savannah could fucking punch with both hands. And she took some damage in that fight, okay? And she showed me something. I agree that the fight was really close. I think people that are saying things like, Shields clearly won 8-2 is doing a disservice to this fight. They're doing a disservice to what Marshall brought to the table. And by the way, Marshall she showed great class. She showed great character, and I hope to see her again. I really do. And I think these two, they need to fight again, because it's 1 and 2, and number 3 is like off somewhere. I don't know where the fuck number 3 is, but they're in a distant third, right? So I want to see it again, and I agree that Taylor Serrano was a better fight, but there's no shame in that. Like this was still a great fight.
Yeah, like if Taylor Serrano, Taylor Serrano was a 10 or a 9.5 for me, 10 or a 9.5, and this was a 9. This was like, yeah, this was good. Like, this is entertaining. Not mad at the decision. I liked every single round. They went at it every single round. Same as D Styles. My analysis was I thought she's gonna feel that power and she's gonna get behind that jab and stay on the outside. I didn't think they was gonna go at it in the pocket as much, and they stayed in the pocket the whole fight. It was a great fight. Her trash talking don't bother me though. It don't bother me. Like, man, she's gonna talk shit. It's just that if you know that the sport needs ambassadors and you know that the sport needs people that will bring other people in, you see that and you're like, come on, dog, you fucking it up. Like, a lot of people admire you right now. Like, they're in awe of you right now. And the constant shit talking, it's like, look, far be it for me to tell you what to do. I just know how people are going to react.
Yeah, and just quickly, so with regards to everyone, the Taylor Serrano, and they were both great fights, but they were different. And I agree also, like, Taylor Serrano was the better fight only because it was multi-layered. Like, you had Katie Taylor with the the slick boxing at the start, just making Serrano miss, making her pay. And you had Serrano sort of coming back, digging to the body, investing in the body, slowing down the legs. Then you had the crisis moment in the mid rounds. Can she come through this, because she looks like she's about to get taken out? Then she comes back, just nicking a couple of rounds. Then it turns into all-out war, 9th and the 10th. Whereas this one was just a war from the start. It was still tactical. It was a very tactical fight, but it was very one-dimensional. It was a war of attrition throughout. Who's going to be able to get the most amount of work off in the round to win it? Whereas the other one just had a few more nuances. It was more 4-dimensional, and it just kind of had you gripped a bit more, in my opinion. But they were both totally amazing fights. They were both great main events, and they were definitely what the women's sport needed for them to start, pushing for more fairness. I won't say equality, because there's no equality anywhere, but fairness in terms of pay, in terms of recognition, and even in terms of maybe pushing those 12-2s or those 10-3s, or however they want to adjust that for the championship fights especially.
And I want to say one more thing, and this goes to a lot of look. I get it. There's only 2 minutes, and it's only 10 rounds, but man, does anybody say like, "Oh, Ward, God, he wasn't a great fight because there was only 10 rounds"? And nobody says that. You know what I mean? And then, like, what? I could go super hardcore. I can go, well, Jack Johnson used to box, limited rounds, 25 rounds. They only box 12 rounds today. They don't box 15 today. They only box 12. Like, well, we don't do that today, right? So all I'm saying is, give these women their respect. They're taking the sport to new heights. And it's not their fault. It's only 10-2. Like, it's not. They don't make that decision, right? And you know what? At the end of the day, I saw more effort from Shields and Marshall in a 10-2 fight than I do in most men's 12-3 fights.
Oh, I
gotta be honest.
Definitely.
And they fought each other.
And the women have to fight even harder than the men, because they're not getting the same opportunities, and they're not getting the same attention and stuff. So they're more incentivized to fight even harder, I think, because of that. They're trying to put themselves on the map even more,
Even the talent too. I mean, there's.
And in the words of Harper, she forgot to put on her shorts. Baumgardner, but I didn't mind.
I can't swear.
Hey, Harper said, I didn't say it.
She did say that though. I seen it during the fight. Yeah, and I don't think anybody was mad about that.
Although nobody was mad about that. I'll tell you that.
Nope.
That base was right there. First.
Oh yeah, I was very happy. I got the footage.
You were there.
I got loads of footage.
Shout out to Galactivated Boxing. He said, much love to the panel. So there was another fight this weekend, man, that I had no interest or anticipation for, and that was the Devin Haney, George Kambosos rematch. But I'm not even going to talk about that fight, because that pretty much went the way we thought it was going to go.
More
Big question.
entertaining though. Let's be fair.
It
lot
was more entertaining because George, like I wasn't sleepy when the fight started. It was actually like, no, he's punching the shit out of George, but it's because George took more chances. That was really the difference. He took more chances, he got hit more.
I just don't like one-sided fights. But I at least George did try. He did try to take it to him a little bit more.
I think he did a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
More not to be that A minus boxer that people think he is, but I think he'd still be class boxer. He's a little bit more aggressive. Haney did what he had to do. We know for a fact that he's just going to try to corner Haney. And I hate the fact that Haney has started clinching too much, even though ESPN started adding the clinching, 25 clinches, 30 clinches. You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, I got to give props to Haney because I gave him a lot of shit. But, Haney did what he had to do the same thing a little bit more to get the victory again. That's about it.
Yeah. So I want to just move on from that fight, and I want to look to the future for Haney. And do you guys think this Lomachenko fight is going to happen? Because now they're saying that he may move to 140. I'm hearing rumors he may move to 140. And if this Lomachenko fight does happen, because Paulie Malignaggi is really like shitting on Devin Haney right now, for saying that he's not going to fight him, and if he does fight him, he's going to lose. I'd like to get your guys' opinion on this potential fight with Lomachenko and Haney, and you guys think it's going to happen? And if it does, how do you think it plays out? We'll start with you, Base.
Well, look, I'll be totally honest. I don't particularly want to see it. I don't want to see him at 135 again. Look, all I need to see was what I saw on the Friday or the Saturday, technically for them on the scales. Like, he's literally, he said himself, look, it's incredibly difficult for him to make the weight. We can see it's taken a toll on his body and his frame naturally. This guy used to be getting knockouts against people, like, legitimately, and now it's like he's got enough to keep you honest, but he hasn't got enough to finish anyone. And that's not necessarily what you need to see in boxing, but you can just clearly tell, like, there's nothing left in his body to keep making that weight. I'm more for health over wealth, because ultimately he can still find big fights as he moves up, but he might, the ego might get him to go for it one more time, and then that plays, to me, it plays into the hands of Lomachenko. Even though he'll be like the naturally bigger, taller Ranger, be able to sort of nullify a lot of things that Loma can do, he will also be very more susceptible to getting hit, getting timed, getting outmoved. He might lose gas. He might lose gas during the fight just due to not being able to properly rehydrate. So I would edge Loma. It would still, I don't think it would be like a conclusive, but I think just because it's his time to move up, I don't think it would put him in the best position. But that being said, again, we don't know what Loma's got left either, so maybe got to wait to see how he comes back after the war and everything. And he's almost 35 now, so his time is coming to a close also. So it might be worth the risk for that particularly, but I would much rather him healthy as opposed to having some long-term effects down the line.
So you don't think he'd be at his best if he stayed at 135?
No.
Gotcha.
You can see he's
fair
done.
point. It's a fair point. It's a fair point because he's busting out at the seams. That's fair. Manny, what do you think, man? Do you think this fight happens with Lomachenko, or do you agree with the Base? Do you think he should?
I think it does. I think it does. Although, yeah, I totally agree, man. I mean, Haney looked like the walking living dead, right? He got casted for that. It was, and how much that takes to the night in boxing, and that's just the night before. So, can you recover enough to be able to, stay unhealthy? And that's the problem. He's been almost all his career being at 135, and sometimes your body, and you 20, what is it, 22 years old, something like that, 23. So at 23 you start growing, you start developing, you start working out, you start building muscles. What do you think is going to happen? Eventually you can't do that. It happens to a lot of people. Even happened to Teofimo. People criticize it. It happened to him, and it wasn't his best night. On the other hand, Lomachenko, we know what he did to Comey. The fight between Kambosos and Haney was supposed to be Lomachenko and Kambosos. Just happens that Lomachenko decided to step out, take care of business, defend his country, and then now Haney got the opportunity to become a world undisputed. And so just keep in mind, this is also top ranks. This is what still Lomachenko's still getting paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And with that, and we all know for a fact that Loma is, Uncle Bob's, son from another mother. But
Oh, he froze up a little bit.
Whoa, I thought it was a dramatic pause for a second.
Yeah.
I think Lomachenko got him. Lomachenko got him.
I was waiting for the climax there.
Yeah.
But
okay, I'm back. I'm
back?
back.
There you go.
Yeah, I just connected to my Wi-Fi on the phone. But anyway, this is Lomachenko's Uncle Bob. Bob is Lomachenko's son from another mother, and then he wants to, make big fights with them still. And I think this fight probably most likely will be the last fight that Haney may do on 135 pounds. And even if he loses, he can exit 135 pounds knowing that he did good. I don't want to say great in 135 because there's still a lot of people that he never fought. And you mentioned something, knockout. I mean, if you think about it, the last knockout that Devin Haney had, it was with Antonio Moran. That's just a few years ago. That's 6 fights ago. You see what I'm saying? So I don't think he's got the power enough to be a 140, and 140 is stacked. Do we want to see another person added to that mix? Definitely. But I think right now is for the best interest right now for Haney to take this fight. The ball's in his court. He's going to have to do whatever possible it is to stay healthy and stay in shape. Higher nutrition is whatever it is that you need to do, because this is a fight that's going to make you some money. And you know for a fact that Haney is due for that. Has he earned the right to? I think so. He took a lot of crap, and I give a lot of crap to Haney, bro. I really do. I'm not a Haney fan, but I have to admit something. Haney took a lot of crap for 2 fights to go overseas, go over there, take less money on the first fight, then go back at it again on a fight that he didn't want to be part of. No one want to be part of, and he did it, and he masterfully did the same thing he did in the first one, even better, and got the victory of what he needed. So is there a big fight coming up? ESPN, Top Rank, Haney. How many fights Haney's got? I think he's 2 more fights with Top Ranks?
No, he's actually finished.
It's actually finished.
It was the 2 fights, but they've got options on his next one. That was the deal.
So I think the option could be right now his biggest payday against a guy that people, want to be able to see if he's the king again of the division 135 pounds, because he's not getting any younger. Is it going to happen? I hope so. I think it's good for 135, and then everyone can move on, and everyone can say, hey, Haney at least, fought at least good opposition at 135, because right now he hasn't.
Yeah, he needs that Loma fight.
He needs it.
Yeah, in my opinion. D-Star, what are your thoughts? You think he should move up, or do you think he should take on this Loma fight?
I mean, look, obviously he needs to trust his body, and people are not going to like hearing this, but if he can make 135 comfortably, then it is time to move up realistically, right? But I think he can still make 135. At least he said he has, and I want to see this Lomachenko fight. This is unfinished business, okay? You can't claim a dude ducked you and was avoiding you and then move up and wait when it's time to fight him. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's time to fight him, right? Yep. It's time to fight Loma. That's what it's time to do, and I'm going to tell you right now. You know me. I don't look at the shell. I don't look at the numbers. I look into the numbers. Yeah, you beat the dude that had the belts, but like everyone kind of knows that the stars aligned and he was in that position. Like when it comes to everybody knows Kambosos had a very unlikely scenario happen. All right, everybody knows this, right? Now that's not Haney's fault. Before somebody, why are you blaming Haney? It's not his fault. I'm not blaming Haney. I'm just saying Haney did what he had to do. And look, I give him all the credit in the world, going to hostile territory. And then not only did he beat this dude, like he like turned them into his fans and shit. Like they were cheering for him more than Kambosos by the time he left. All right. Like he's got a following in Australia now. Right. So like shout out to him. But it's time to fight Lomachenko. That's the fight to make. I'm just saying, it's the fight to make. It's the fight to do. It's what you got to do. Just give me one more hand. You can do it one more time. One more time at 135. Can you do just Lomachenko one more time? Hit me, baby, one more time.
Too much talent at 130. The king. Yeah, like there's too much talent at 135 for this to go on. I got a real soft spot for Devin Haney because Ryan outright ducked him and got away with it. and nobody says anything, and it pisses me off. But you were interim champion. You beat Luke Campbell for the interim title, and
he ducked him for a dude he didn't even fight, by the way.
And Devin fought the people that you were intended to fight. Remember, first and foremost, you were supposed to fight Linares. You pulled out. You were supposed to fight Diaz. You pulled out. All right.
Yep.
And Devin made the sacrifices. Now, because I see that this kid hasn't really gotten a fair shake. They called him an email champion. That wasn't his fault, bro. What the fuck was he supposed to do? Well, it's not his fault that Bob petitioned for franchise status. It's not his fault, but he took a lot of shit. So where I'm at with it is, I agree with Base in the sense that if your body is telling you go up, I'm not going to hold it against you. I'm not. But what I want as a consumer is this Lomachenko fight. Why?
That's what I want.
Ryan wouldn't park his car next to Vasyl Lomachenko's. He wouldn't.
Hit me, baby, one more time. I didn't even like that fucking Britney Spears song. One more time.
Let me ask you a scenario.
No, this is the thing. Gervonta Davis has been avoiding Lomachenko for 4 years.
Oh, dude, that dude's been avoiding him like he's put a restraining order on him.
So if Devin stays there, I don't care if he loses. I don't care if he gets knocked out. That kid has my respect because at least he did.
But before Base goes, really quick,
what you guys want to do?
I just want to finish one more point before Base goes, and you could go Base. But let me just say this: I want to see the Lomachenko fight. I think Loma was the guy that was actively collecting these belts and made Undisputed so easy for Teofimo and yourself. Like, let's be honest. Like, he's the one that he was the one gathering these belts. Give him a shot. You know what I mean? Like, I think he deserves it. I think why not? It's a fight we got to see. It's a fight that, look, let's be honest, it's going to get tribal on YouTube, especially. It's going to get very, very venomous on here. But it is what it is. But I want to see the fight. And you know what? I'll say it right now. Lomachenko beats Devin Haney. Okay, I'm just telling everybody right now. He beats him. Now, if Haney wants to prove me wrong, fight to do.
And listen,
if you don't fight him, I will
that Ortiz fight, bro. You better just wait. Don't say no fly shit. You got to fight that Ortiz kid. That's a big kid. He's a southpaw. He beat Jamel Herring. Wait, don't say shit.
Oh, man, he's gonna razzle dazzle around Ortiz, but. But I know Rank keeps giving me that. Hey, don't do that.
We won't let Alex get in.
I haven't finished. I just want to say one more thing really quick. It'll be like 10 seconds. On the undercard of that card, it went under the radar because of all the big women fights in the UK. But shout out to Shanika Johnson. She got a big win, had an ugly ass gash that I seen dudes say, I don't want to fight no more. Right. But she kept fighting with that shit. Okay. And then I saw, not that I was noticing or anything, but her white, top got all crimson a little bit. You know what I mean?
Blood. It was
and for all the dudes that say, I don't want to see women bleed. I loved it. I don't know. It looked sexy to me, but it is what it is.
Wow.
Don't be sadistic. Come on, man.
I'm just saying, it looks pretty good.
I'm going to give him Shanika Johnson. Like, she's amazing. Yeah. Yes. Great, and obviously she's got that Maui blood, so you know that she weren't about to quit. Those people don't quit for nothing. Right, with regards to the Haney, what I want to ask, would people consider this as a compromise? If his body literally is failing him to make 135, would you allow him to do some form of catch weight on his side, say that 137 or 136.5, but say Loma, if you beat him, you get all the belts because he's blown the weight, but he's going to move up afterwards anyway, win, lose, or draw. So you still get the chance to undefeated, but if he wins, then the belts just get scattered everywhere.
Look. I said this already months ago. Devin's going to spank George again, and if Devin were to move up to 40, I wouldn't get mad because there's another super fight there waiting for me anyway, and that's the Lopez fight, and I'm okay with that. At the end of the day, there was a lot of pussyfooting around at 135 that wasn't Devin's fault. And that's how we got here. There are a lot of people that should have fought Vasyl Lomachenko that did not. There are a lot of people that should have fought for titles that did not. So if his body is in a place where it's like, look, we can't keep doing this shit, and be like, no, you know what? 135 being fucked up is not on Devin. The only thing that bothers me is, the Vasyl Lomachenko. Like, bro, look, I don't think either of them ducked each other, to be honest, man. I don't think Loma's scared of Devin, but I really don't think Devin's scared of Loma neither. That's too even-tempered for most people, but I don't think Devin is scared of Loma. I honestly don't. And I don't think Loma's scared of him neither. That was politics that got in the way. A lot of people don't like that explanation, but it's the truth. Devin, you're with Matchroom. Loma, you're with Top Rank. Top Rank was worried about making a Lopez fight. They weren't worried about you. They didn't care about you. It wasn't their priority to put you in the ring with Loma. That's just the politics, bro, not the fighters. That was the politics. But, you know.
Yeah, like
But still, that's why it makes sense right now for this fight to happen because now Haney is he feels on top of the world, and the only way that you can say I'm undisputed, I don't need to get paid. He gonna get paid. Are you gonna make it a sacrifice to stay at 135? Do what you have to do to make this fight happen. To say yes. I mean, he said yes to all the bullshit that happened with the Cambosos, with that contract rematch going over there again. I mean, he could have said no, but you know what? He had the guts to say, I'm just going to go for it, and I'm going to, I'm going to have to suck it up. I'm going to have to eat it. I don't like it. I'm going to digest it. And at the end of the day, I'm going to get paid. This is a chance for him to get paid. If he moves up to 140, come on, guys. What do we have there? Right now, we have
You got Lopez, bro.
You got Lopez. Okay. You got a lot of people. You got Lopez, Cepeda, Ramirez.
Let's Alex
Una pregunta. No te gusta esa pelea.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, I want to take back.
Te gusta esa pelea para Devin Haney. Cepada, Pedraza.
I like it. I like it. But that's a fight that's not going to happen immediately. Okay? He's going to have to go up there and prove himself. Where's the money? He's not going to get paid as much as he'll get paid with Lomachenko. My point is, you take this fight, you take the money, you leave, you lose, you leave with dignity because you were undisputed and you knew you couldn't make the weight. I'm not saying put that in an excuse like Teofimo did, but that's the reality. Take the money and go away. Stay healthy though. That's the important key.
Go ahead, Alex.
No, I just want to piggyback off of what Ring and Manny just said is this narrative that just came up out of thin air these past couple of days. Paulie kind of brought it up, and then both sides are at it now. Look, the narrative that Lomachenko ducked Devin, basically what they're claiming right now is Loma is aging himself out because Loma has no problem fighting Devin next year. He's not aging himself out. And then the other side of it, the Paulie side of it, is Devin's not going to fight Loma. What do we have to go to make that claim? There's no track record of Devin. Like Ring was just saying, like 135, in my opinion, has been an overrated division for years. All flash, not much substance. 140 is the tougher division. So Paulie's claim that Devin is going to duck Lomachenko, where's it coming from? It's out of thin air. It's out of nowhere. His track record doesn't prove that. Devin Haney's on a nice 4-fight run. Fought Linares. I know Linares is up there in age. I get it, but it was his name moving up. Fought Jojo Diaz. Ryan was supposed to fight both of those guys. Devin did it. Devin, the narrative now is Cambosos isn't that good, but that wasn't the narrative with him going into it. The other guys wouldn't have went over to Australia, signed a rematch clause to go back over there. Devin did it, and Devin deserves his flowers now. So
absolutely,
what I'm saying is I think he'll fight Lomachenko. I sort of disagree that he shouldn't go back to the well for 135. He did look terrible on the weight, on the scale. I get it. But
he looked great the next day.
He looked great the next day.
Whatever he's doing, because Camboso wasn't the same guy. Very aggressive. And he knew this from the beginning. That's why he started clinching. Right?
Exactly.
So exactly. He looked good. So something he's doing right to make sure that he earns the right not to be proclaimed the king of 135, which he is, but also
he looked great the next day. I think he needs to try to go back to the well because 140, I'm telling you, those dudes fight at 140. Those dudes are strong, and Devin Haney's weakness is the power. So what I'm saying is I've talked to D-Style about this over the phone a couple weeks ago is I like Devin Haney. I do. I like the fact, and it's ironic that Paulie's going after him, right? Because they share some similarities. Both of them were masters at the up jab. Masters. It's masterful the way that Devin Haney can throw a land under 70 power shots and dominate a fight, and he does that with his left hand with the jab. But if he moves to 140, that right hand is going to have to come in play for him to win those big fights, and I just don't see that. I think his ceiling is much lower than, say, a guy like Shakur, a guy like Bam, these other young American fighters coming up, Virgil, Boots. I think his ceiling is lower than those guys. Just my opinion. I think the power is going to come into play at some point. Those guys are going to try to test that chin if he moves up to 140. So I've always felt like 140 is a stronger division. And as crazy as it sounds, because I'm high on Lomachenko, always have been, but a Lomachenko fight at 135 may be easier than some of the top fights he's going to get at 140 stylistically. I'm just saying.
No, that's true. That's true.
135 is better fit for Devin Haney than 140. I think when Devin Haney goes to 140, I think there are going to be some issues when he fights some of those top guys at 140. That's just.
Well, I think the only chance he
so
may
I think
have.
there's going to be, but man, there's going to be risk either way. There's going to be risk.
It is.
There's going to be risk draining yourself down to 135. Look, Cotto's a great example of that. Cotto stayed at 140 too long, and it almost cost him towards the end. He moved up to 147, and he went into 147, and he carried over power at 147. The issue with Haney is you risk staying at 135 too long. I get it. But you also risk moving up to 140 without power in a tough division.
For less money. And
then the only scenario that I think he might do
fighters are at 135. So the Lomachenko fight. But I will say this: Bob Arum wants this tournament to happen, and I hope it happens.
I hope it does. Man. That's a good idea.
Now you got the Devin Haney versus Lomachenko that will hopefully happen in the spring, and then he wants the Shakur fight against the winner later that year. I hope it happens, but what I'm saying is these guys are going to duck. You thought they were ducking Lomachenko. Just wait till Shakur steps foot at 135. Goodness gracious.
Let me say this, Callie.
ESPN is kicking everybody's ass. I just want to say that.
Let me say this, Callie. Bob is the guy that gave Crawford $6 million for a Sean Porter fight. He's going to pay Devin. He's going to pay him. Yeah. It's going to be a pay-per-view. Everybody on this panel is going to buy it. Base might not have to because it won't be pay-per-view in the UK. It'll be on regular Sky. So he's cool. I feel Devin is going to evaluate it, and his father. They're going to evaluate it based on the price. We go to 40. We risk a lot going to 40. There's some killers up there and very few big fights. And the price won't be right for these risks. But if we stay here one fight more, we stay down at 135, we fight Loma. Yeah, it's a little hard to make, but we'll manage. We can beat him easier than some of these guys at 40. We stand a better chance with him. You see what I mean? Evaluating the risks. Because you risk a lot going to 40. 40 is the land of the killers and the southpaws. It's southpaws galore at 40, all right?
Yep.
Now,
I think the easier.
With that
path,
said, don't count out the Godfather when he makes Troy an offer.
I think the easier path for him is if he moves up to 140, and then we get the fight for the IBF, which is Ponce and Sobriel Matias. That could be an entrance for him. It could be an immediate challenge if he goes the IBF side of it.
No puede con esa gente, te lo estoy diciendo. Él no puede con esos muchachos.
Porque tan fuerte, es tan fuerte. Y se sabe. Y él tiene que tener una pelea adicional para demostrar que puede estar en esa categoría. And he needs to prove that. So that's why it makes sense to stay 135. Get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Man, Beef don't know what you're saying when you're talking Spanish. Beef's like.
But my question is.
To echo what Manny said real quick, Beef, is he looked good on fight night. He might have looked like Skeletor on the scale, but he looked good.
He looked good. He still has it. It.
Yeah, like he looked like Skeletor on the scale, and he looked like Skeletor in the fight.
He still got it at 135.
But does he become bigger and stronger at 140?
No.
Can I say something about that real quick?
He's never going to be a puncher, Beeb. He's never going to be a puncher.
Here's the thing, Beeb. Here's the thing.
There they punch.
We gotta go by history, right? Floyd was a puncher at 130. He was. Knocked down Corrales 5 times. And as he moved up,
fucking good opponent.
He went from a devastating puncher to like an okay puncher to like not a puncher at all. 147.
Exactly. You don't get stronger when you move up. Your punch doesn't.
But I do want to say, just really quick, totally unrelated, but Shanika Johnson to make looking bloody look good. I just want to point that out.
Well, she's a bad motherfucker. She's a bad motherfucker, right? She is a bad motherfucker. I mean, but I want to say this.
So you want to keep going? Yeah.
Let's talk about Shanika a little more. Goddamn Shanika. But in all seriousness, Devin wasn't a puncher at 35, so he's not going to become a puncher at 40. That's just the reality of it. Like Floyd was a devastating puncher at those weights, but we see what happened when he got to 47. He was an animal at those weights. But as you go up, the power wanes. So
you know what? Even power punch, like bro, like take one of the best power punchers ever, Roberto Duran, at 135 power puncher.
See.
At 160, respectable power. You know what I mean? Like the bar went down a little bit as far as what he was able to do with his right hand. I'm just saying.
Haney hasn't even got his game strength yet, man. He's only 23. 28. It's the weight, bro.
I don't think it's the weight, Beeb. Beeb, I don't think it's the weight. You're really strong, Beeb. You've been working out? Really strong. But I don't think it's the weight. I mean, it's just he's not going to be a puncher. He doesn't have it. There's an old saying, punchers aren't made, they're born. He's not a puncher. He's not going to become one. He's not going to. He's just not.
He's going to rely on the defense, and he's going to rely on the distance, keeping people in the distance. Try to improve your footwork and your speed, your hand speed. He had a much better hand speed in this fight. I didn't see a lot of footwork moving around the ring the way he should have. It was just always caught up on the ropes, clinching down, grabbing in, and it was. You can't act that way, not even with Lomachenko.
The scenario that Manny brought up
so good. I'm just saying.
The scenario that Manny brought up on Subriel Matias and Jeremiah Ponce, those kids are not the boxers that he is. But if they connect on him, he's out, man. He is out.
And look, they're not going to allow Devin to hit and hold them to death. They're just not. So not only does he not going to carry up the power to 140, he's not also dealing with guys who can test the chin like Linares did. And on top of that, he's no longer navigating a division at 135 where guys are purposely avoiding each other. He's going to a division where steel is sharpening steel. So it's a whole different ball game. Stay at 135 as long as you can.
If he hears this, man, he's going to go stop buying 6 packs of Slim Fast. He ain't going to go up.
I'll put it this way. Lomachenko, I don't think he'll knock out Haney. I don't think so. If he beats him, he'll beat him. Escucha bien. Think about the power of Pitbull Cruz.
Belts off of
right?
him, that's all.
That is a 140 power Pitbull Cruz. All right, think about it. Can Haney do something against Pitbull Cruz? Can he take the power that he has?
Stylistically, and I've said this before, and people might not like the sound of it, but stylistically, Pitbull has the right style for Devin. You want to keep the guy at arm's length. This kid's small. He's a very small target, and he's like a metronome, side to side, like an old peekaboo style. He throws the big overhand rights. He's not going to jab his way in and jab with you. He's just going to wing shots, big shots. One of them is going to get through. Being completely honest, I don't know that you can absorb one of those because you were on Queer Street for at least 2 rounds from one Linares right hand. One.
Okay. So I want to move on. I want to move on to my favorite topic of the week. And I got to ask everybody. I already said what I had to say. I got a gag. I got a gag to put on me from PBC. I got the but I'm going to ask you guys. Did this Deontay Wilder Robert Helenius knockout?
Oh man, what are we doing?
At all look suspicious to you? I'm gonna start with you. I'm gonna start with you, baby.
Como decía, un cocotazo.
I'm gonna start with you, baby.
Okay, so look, I'm not gonna lie to you, right? When I first watched it, I saw him get knocked out, and I was like, "Wait, what happened?" Because all I saw was Wilder just backing up, just coming off the ropes. I barely even saw the hand. So it was totally like just blocked from my view. I watched it I watched it live. Luckily, but it was on the stream. I was like, "Wait, what happened there? Oh, he's down. He's out. Wow, like that must have been crazy." Then obviously I see the replay, and I was like, "Okay, I can." There's not a huge amount of extension there. It's not like he cocked his right hand all the way back and caught him. But then it's like, okay, he did step in, chin up in the air, caught him with almost the palm. It's like, okay, that's. So I looked at it, I said, look, to me, it was soft. So that just tells me one of two things. It tells me it's either it was a, an agreed upon thing, or it tells me that you really had no business being in that ring. And I choose to pick the latter because I do think there was enough of a shot, especially falling into it, that there was enough power behind it. But I don't think it should have been enough power to actually sleep someone cold on the floor, like looking up at the stars, like what's going on. So yeah, that part was a little bit. It felt weird, but I actually do think it was legit. I just can't believe that someone got knocked out from a shot when there was no extension whatsoever in the strike.
And he hit him with this part of the glove.
Yeah.
Well. And he hit him, and his fist slid up his forehead.
Stop.
Let me say this. I thought it looked weird. There was ringside footage where you could hear the punch, and upon hearing the punch, he knocked him out. Like if it wasn't for that footage, I'd be skeptical.
Unless he really acted well.
No, when my dad hit me with the strap, made a loud noise. Wasn't enough.
Well, this is the other thing. Let me say this. See, this is Robert Helenius getting knocked out. Believe it or not, stranger things have happened, because this is a guy that got knocked out by Gerald Washington. And Gerald Washington is not a puncher, but he knocked out Helenius. So if Gerald can get you out of there, and I brought this up several times, what I saw Helenius do was he leaned over his lead foot, which you're not supposed to do. He leaned over his lead foot, and when he came up, he was shaped like a crab. You're shaped like a crab, like kick it into the joint, yo. That's how you shape. So when the punch hit him, it wasn't nothing there to brace him for the punch. So I'm of the opinion, no, he got knocked out because he is chinny. He is 37 years old. He's always been chinny. He got knocked out by Duhaupas. He got knocked out by Washington. He got knocked out by Wilder. Stranger things have happened. That's all I'm saying.
I gotta calm down here because I'm about to go. I don't want to go.
You might as well just go off. Just might as well. I mean, at this point.
Calix, you got it, man.
B, did you notice when he did hit that the glove kind of bent? So there was some room there.
There's a Fury kind of thing there.
That's all I'm saying. It could have been an egg weight in there. I'm saying, I don't want to bring that back up, but
Wing Chun action.
Right. So look. You don't need to set up a dive when the fight is set up on paper. And this is my point from the beginning this is why I was catching so much hate after the video on Twitter and on YouTube. It's like, and the PBC guys, it's like, look, I've been saying for a while after the Fury nonsense that Wilder just needs to come back and catch a body. So I was fine with them putting him in there with Helenius. But the issue was when they were selling this as a pay-per-view, when they were building up Helenius, when, as D-Style told me yesterday, they were literally acting like this guy was a literal Viking. It's like, no, he's not a Vikings don't exist anymore. He's not a Viking. He's a regular dude with a nickname of a Viking. Okay? This dude is pushing 40. He's been knocked out multiple times before by much lesser fighters. And on top of that, he was Wilder's sparring partner, so Wilder knows him in and out. This fight was set up. He was there for a reason. Guys, this was a glorified sparring session. This was a glorified stay busy fight for the Ruiz fight. That's what this was. So
who's seen how Duhaupas left him? Who's seen, like, Duhaupas left him slumped on the ropes, and this was in his prime. He left him slumped on. Duhaupas did that, bro. So him coming in the way that he did, leaning over his lead foot, then coming up, but he's not in a guard. He gets caught square in the face. Yeah, I could believe that because I heard the punch, and that's what sold me. That when I heard it, when I watched that ringside footage, and I heard the slap on that punch, it's like it rounded it out for me that, yeah, like, and this guy's always been chinny. So, I mean, yeah, it's not hard to believe that he went out like that. It's just some stranger things have happened.
Who starts out throwing a right hand from three feet away like this?
Here we go.
Finish, and then, like, when you throw a right hand, and
have you seen the Spilka fight? Have you seen the Spilka fight?
But same thing, man.
Stop.
He looked like the Archangel from X-Men. He went. I mean, come on, man. Who does that?
Yeah. I'll say this though. Besides the knockout. And I told these guys this yesterday, I'm very concerned with whatever they're trying to do with Wilder right now, because I think they're trying to turn him into a boxer at 37 years old. Like he was circling around the ring, and I saw him shadow boxing a couple of days before the fight, and he's so stiff. And I'm like, what are they trying to do with him? Just set up his right hand. He is who he is at this point. Malik Scott's trying to turn this dude into somebody he's not. And the minute I'm telling y'all, man, like I was watching Usyk versus Joe Joyce. People forget that he fought Joe Joyce in 2013 in the World Series of Boxing. Usyk knows how to take power, and these other guys in top 5 know how to take power. I'm just telling you, like maybe Anthony Joshua not so much, but I'm just telling you, like once these guys in the top 5, if Wilder were to go there, and Ruiz isn't top 5, if he were to go there, I think he's going to have big time issues.
The other thing is, look, I like the Ruiz fight more than most because I don't actually believe what I'm seeing from Wilder. The fact that they had to put you in there with Helenius tells me what I need to know about where you are. And with Ruiz, the adjustment he has to make for Wilder, it's not a big adjustment. You just have to slip the jab. Slip the jab or slip the right and counter it. That's all you have to do. If you take away his jab or you take away his right, he's defenseless. I believe Ruiz hits hard enough that he can take him out. And there's enough intrigue in there that, look, I think Wilder could hurt Ruiz. I think he can knock him out because Ruiz has slow feet. They both have enough drawbacks that I actually like the fight. I would pay to see it if it's on pay-per-view. I didn't pay for this bullshit, but I'd pay for that one. Like, yeah, I like that one because Ruiz has an out and Wilder has an out. They both have flaws. Let's throw them together. Let's see what happens. I like that fight. As far as him fighting guys like Joyce, just guys like Jaloff, like he's not going to fight these people. I don't think he's going to fight these people. I don't think he's going to fight these people. But Ruiz, yeah, that can happen, and I like that. That's okay. He's 37, you know. Yeah, go out there, do your thing.
Yeah, stay away from Jaloff. Jeez. Whew.
Yeah, he's not going to fight that. He will fucking that guy, man.
The issue with that is, I think Wilder, he does a lot of projecting out there, and when he's getting mad at people, he's really getting mad at himself. That's what's going on, and I think instinctively he knows he's missing that career-defining victory because Ortiz is not that, and Brimani Stavern is not that. He needs a career-defining victory, and Ruiz won't be that. It's a good fight, but it's not going to be that. He needs the career-defining victory against another heavyweight of his era.
None of it. This is the problem. There's one that could right all the wrongs. There is just one. But it won't happen because he won't acquiesce to being the B-side. And unfortunately, that's what you are, bro. You just drew 77,000 buys in your own neck of the woods. The AJ kid, he's the fucking boss. Play by his rules and get the fight. Then you got a shot. All right? I'm not even saying you win because you suck. You're like, and you know me. I've been saying the guy sucks. All right, I'm sorry.
I think right now it's one of the things I want to start with is I got to give it props to the mental health. For him, whatever he was going through in the past, if it's something that has to do with the punches and his brain getting the damage, or maybe he's just not in the state of mind where someone needs to be to focus on a great career. I think he did that. All right, I think in this fight proved himself. I think he has humbled himself enough to not be the trash talker, Bronx bomber he was in the past, but
it was the Huasca,
right? The Huasca, right? The Hayahuasca, yeah, that plant. Yeah. But the reality is I think at one point when I did see the fight, it kind of reminded me a little bit when before Tyson became a world champion, he fought Trevor Berbick. Before that, he fought someone by the name of Marvis Frazier. 30 seconds. That was his 30-second fight.
I love that knockout. I love that knockout.
He didn't belong in the ring, right? He didn't belong in the ring. The other guys seemed to be not in there. He just, I don't think he trained enough, and just 30-second. That was his 30-second knockout Tyson ever had. I felt the same way here. Even though Wilder at the end, at the press conference, he was saying, I saw his eyes. He was mean. He was brutal, and he had that poise to really get me there. And I think this was hyping him a little bit too much. Did he cut him up a little bit? Yes, but he didn't start the fight well. He was just dancing around the ropes and just moving around, and he is only technically looking for that 2-second punch that people fell in love with. Where are the boxing skills? That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that from the get-go. If you're a Tyson that goes in and wants to kill someone, kill him. But if you're someone that little by little, with your skills, you act with a jab, and then you go inside the ring and get him knocked out the way he did, that's what people's looking for. And I just don't think right now I mean, yeah, you guys are talking about AJ and Wilder. These are two guys that are right now. I don't know. They're not in the right moment at this point. I think AJ right now is all still mentally not in the right place. I think he got hit on the side of the head. Something has happened ever since that sparring session. I forgot the name of him, but and then he goes to Andy Ruiz. It was a replacement. After that, Anthony Joshua hasn't been the same.
But
After Fury,
let me.
Wilder hasn't been the same.
I want to disagree. I want to disagree because and this is confirmed. Serafina confirmed it. She has no reason to make excuses for AJ. He was concussed by Joey DeVeco in sparring.
That's the guy. Yeah.
That's the concussion that he went into the. He was going to go into the Miller fight with the concussion.
Right.
He ended up going into the Ruiz fight with the concussion.
Well, Miller,
but losing to Usyk, and I think that gets misconstrued. Losing to Usyk does not tell me that he don't have it anymore. It's just that Usyk is that good.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it. If
you look at AJ before Usyk, AJ before Andy Ruiz, it was a different AJ. When he had got in there, he was in the zone. He was focused. He was mean. Now he's just, I'm here. I got to be here. Am I going to get hit again? Am I going to get hit again? Is going to be concerned. So I think he's too concerned about getting hit and not focus on the ability to box because he can box. Anyone from the heavyweights that can box and punch, AJ can't. But I just don't think he is in the game like he was in the past.
Manny, te lo voy a decir la próxima pelea, que cuando él pelea con Arovalin, tú vas a ver. Tú lo vas a ver. And I got to dress low. Low, I got $100 bet. AJ knocks out Wilder. Because Wilder sucks. He's always sucked. I said he sucks. And he sucks. All right, Low? He sucks.
Shout out to
and you
AJ.
And real quick, you can't tell I don't think you can tell all that off the Usyk fights. And I actually thought that AJ performed better in the second Usyk fight. I thought he made adjustments. He just lost to a better fight. Usyk's special, man. He's special.
Yes.
He's a Capricorn like me. He has to be special. I've been trying to tell you guys, Roy Jones Jr., Bernard Hopkins, Usyk, Josh Taylor, Delphine Pursoon, Raven Chapman, motherfucking Joe Frazier, Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, Floyd Patterson, Capricorns, goddammit.
And me. Let's not forget me.
And Basic Kid, goddammit.
Basic Kid too.
Yeah, Kid too. Yeah. Bring the UK down here, baby.
Trying to tell y'all.
And he forgot Pernell Whitaker.
Pernell Whitaker, Felix Trinidad. You want me to go on? We got a long list of guys. Customato. We got a long list of guys, man.
Carlos Ortiz, coño.
Pa' que lo sepa.
I know you're not buying it, Easton. Go ahead, man.
Here's what I want to say. Joe Habib's my brother. I've known him for 10 years. He's a good person. You know what I mean? Like he loves his brother, like his real brother. He loves his family. He loves people close to him. He's loyal. He's a great person. He's just wrong about this thing. Like, it is what it is. All right. I just want to say that. And shout out to AJ Space. He says, great love. Shout out to him. Thank you for supporting my brother. But here's what I'll say. You could say what you want about Wilder. Whatever it is you want to say about him.
He sucks.
Motherfucker. And there's one thing he could do. It's fucking he cracks. He's the only dude that's dropped Tyson Fury 4 times. He's the only dude that's done that. And the only guy that will ever do that, by the way. All right. Now, as far as AJ, look, you know there's something up with Usyk when you know Tyson Fury acts a little different when Usyk's name comes out. Okay? He acts like the hyenas do with Mufasa when it comes to Usyk's name. Like, it is what it is. Okay? But if there's one thing that Wilder could do, look, I get it. The Wilder fans could get out of control. The Wilder fans believe stupid things like he put egg whites in his glove and all this other crazy shit. Okay, but at the end of the day, there's one thing you can't take away, that this dude could punch. I've watched it several times. He landed that punch clean, and I believe that was a legit knockout. It's got to be honest. That's just my opinion. To answer the question, it was legit to me, right? But when I say that, we're talking about Helenius. We're talking about a dude that got knocked out by Gerald Washington. right? We're talking about a dude that was there to make Wilder look good. And I'll give Calix credit for this. You don't have to fix the fight. The matchmaking already fixed it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I see it.
Perfect comeback. It was a perfect comeback for him.
It was a perfect comeback, like Manny says. I think it was a beautiful knockout. But I got to be honest, Shanika Johnson's crimson top
Oh my God.
is still in my mind. I just want to put that out there. Shout out to her. She's a warrior. I just want to put that out there.
Listen, man, she's just a bad, like, let me keep my mouth shut and stay professional. She's just.
Well, I mean, you can't deny that he makes the heavyweights better. You got more interesting fights right now in the scope of the heavyweights. All right.
Yes.
Because the heavyweights was dead. All right. So now you got potential. You got Ruiz. Oh, AJ. Possible Usyk. Right. There's a couple other guys also.
Yeah, Arslanbek Makhmudov, Jalov, Ditchko. I mean, like, I love where the heavyweight division is right now because I already see the next wave of guys. You got Anderson. It's a lot of good guys. I like that Richard Torres kid, even though he looks a bit, he looks like he needs some work, but I like him. He's fun to watch. It's not always about winning the title for me. It's about who can make for entertaining fights. Richard Torres, maybe he wins a title, maybe he don't, but he looks like a fun little fighter to watch. And he kind of looks like a Ron Jeremy and Weird Al Yankovic, like a mix. Like they just fusion, and they just made a fusion. It's wonderful. And with Wilder, look, he's 37 years old. He's not long for the division, and they're coming for him because he's a familiar name. They are coming for him. The young guys, they want him. So I know he's on borrowed time. But if he could give me a Ruiz fight, and I'll give him this much, if he can knock out Ruiz, where Ruiz has never been knocked out, I'll give him a lot of credit for that because Ruiz has been in there with Parker. He's been in there with Ortiz. He's been in there with AJ. They couldn't stop him. If Wilder stops him, that's a signature win for you, bro. That's a signature win for you.
Fair enough.
Shout out to Saul Alvarez. He says, Beebs, they're not ready for the truth. He dropped Fury. It's still got his ass kicked.
Canelo, míralo.
Canelín Colorado.
Come on, Canelo, all the money you made, like $5. Hey, what's going on?
Saúl El Canelo Álvarez.
So, do you guys think that Wilder's going to fight Ruiz next? Or, I mean, is that the next fight? It's pretty.
I think
much.
what the WBC ordered that, or they're about to.
They was always going to.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and I think it makes sense, not only for Ruiz having a big win against Luis Ortiz, and now you got Wilder beating Helenius. It was just a tune-up fight, guys. That's it. A lot of people came to me and asked me, Manny, who is Helenius? And I'm like, yeah, I can tell you a little bit, but this is on Wilder right now. Well, why should I pay $79?
You shouldn't. You should watch Devin Haney go to Australia. And watch Shanika Johnson. That's what I did.
God bless you, Nicky Johnson.
Well, even though I was watching Devin Haney, I decided to tune back halfway through, and I'm glad I did because I witnessed Plant.
Like, I don't want to see women all bloody in the ring. Just watching Nicky Johnson. That's all I'm saying.
Plant, Caleb Plant, shout out to him because that was a nice way to send David a message that, look, when you fought this guy, you didn't do him how I just did him. I cold slept him. And good for Plant. I like Plant. He's a good guy. He's got a kid. He's married. Jordan Plant is hot. And good for him. He got a good knockout. Guy was talking a lot of shit. He made him eat his words. I love to watch it happen. When you make the guy eat his words, I love to watch it happen. So,
are you okay with the statement and buried him? Like, even the referee didn't really feel good about it. And we're talking about people getting hurt inside the ring. We're talking about people having, massive brain damage. Even Wilder talked about Pritchard Colon, right? A prospect, a contender. He could have been a champion right now. Has no family or anything like that. And then you massively throw this left hook and you just completely, put this guy to sleep and you want to bury him. Do you think that's right? Because of the trash talking, and I get it, but it's still right for him to do that.
I didn't like it, Manny. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Yo voy a decir esto. Yo he visto cosas que son más malas que esa en este deporte. Okay. My man Trevor Burbick ran up on the car and Larry Holmes leg dropped Trevor Burbick, bro. All right. Fan man crashed into the goddamn crowd in the middle of the fight.
I love it.
Goddamn riot broke out. Which was the fight where Jim Lampley was in the middle of a riot? What fight was that?
That was Foreman. That was Bogalata too.
Him doing that was the equivalent of a Fortnite dance to me. Just let the guy celebrate. Darrell's gonna be fine. Let him celebrate because he's talking a lot of shit. And I feel like Darrell, unfortunately, it happens in the sport. It just is what it is. I'm old. I take it for what it is. Darrell took things to a place where they didn't need to go. You took it there, bro. He wouldn't have felt that way about you if you wasn't bumping your gums saying the shit you saying. You said that shit. He took it personal. He made you pay for it. It is what it is. You shouldn't have said that shit. It is what it is.
F around, find out. F around, find out.
You know,
when you fuck around, you're gonna find out.
Funny thing is, too, probably Plant has heard a lot of things that Darrell was saying to him all his life, and he's just so sick of it. You know what I mean? Coming up in the gyms and stuff like that. He probably heard a lot of that, and he just said,
I've been calling him John B this whole time. Do you know how fucking irritating that must be for Caleb Plant? John B, color me, I wanna sex you up. Remember Color Me Bad in the 90s? Right, call him that shit, you know?
White man can't. So here's the thing: white man can't punch, right? So if a white guy tells that to an African American or a black as we call it, is that basically like you're just? Does that make sense? Is that are you racist because of that?
No, I'm just saying that.
The way around?
Look, I'm saying we're human beings, ¿me entiendes? Si tú me dices cosas a mí que mira este mangú, esta longaniza, todos los días. Yo, I'm gonna fucking go crazy, bro. Like, déjame quieto, manín, no me llame eso. So I felt that on Plant because he said that he was saying things about me and calling me different types of names. He didn't repeat what the names were, but he was saying things about me and calling me names. And that kind of
constant over and over.
That kind of told me where he was coming from. I'm like, look, the dude got mad. And when you talk shit, you know, don't talk shit and get knocked out. If you're gonna talk shit, you better win. You talk shit and got knocked out. So when you get knocked out, am I supposed to feel? Nah, like you asked for it, bro. Like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon. Remember? You asked for it. It's like that shit.
Shout out to Saul Alvarez again. He says, I liked it. It gets people talking about it. Gotcha.
What was Shanika Johnson's shout out, Beep?
That was fucking perfect.
I'll let you know. I just want to let you know this is family.
You didn't like Alicia's thong or something like that? No, you gotta have blood in it.
I'm not saying I like. I'm just saying I'm not complaining. That's what Harper said, and I co-sign with
kids. You got kids watching. Please.
Let me say this to Low. Actually, if you go to Punch Drunk Boxing, shout out to Mr. Moonshine. He actually has the video where not the video, it was really on a podcast, but he did say that. I heard it myself.
Yeah, I've heard it. I heard it. He said it.
He said it, you know, but moreover, Caleb was talking about things that he said to him. You know, he said that he was calling me all kinds of names and things like that. So it's not exclusive to what he said on that podcast. These are interactions and that they have had where he said shit to him. He took it personal. It's boxing, bro. You know, you get paid to hurt the guy. He hurt the guy.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Darrell shouldn't ask for the proof because it's out there. You know, he ain't gonna want to see. He should just let it go and just let it die, and it is what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So if you're gonna have remorse about hitting some guy, should you stay in boxing? And I refer myself to Wilder. Should you stay in boxing? I mean, ultimately,
Wilder wanted to win an Oscar, Manny. Wilder wanted to win an Oscar porque Wilder el mismo tipo que dijo, yo quiero matar a alguien. 3-4 years of saying I want to catch a body in the ring. Y ahora porque tú quieres llorar. It's like I thought those were crocodile tears. You told Brazil you want to do X, Y, and Z to him in front of his family. That was you that said that, right? And you wasn't a child when you said that, right? No, that was not but 2 years ago you said that shit.
This was all part of the script that just carried over afterwards. That's what I've been trying to tell you.
I guess, but when do we hold him accountable, Beeb? Because he's been saying that for a long time.
I mean, he's a product of his own hypocrisy. It's not a good look. I mean, he's all over. Here's the thing: he's all over the place. First he wants to bulk up because Fury bulks up, right? Then he wants to wear the horsehair gloves because Fury wears a horsehair gloves. What's he end up doing? He ends up breaking his gloves because he used to wear the horsehair gloves and he stopped wearing them because he broke his hand. So why go like he's going around like
in fairness, be really quick, he didn't wear them because Fury wore them. He wore them because his stupid fan base told him that he's wearing those illegal gloves, so he should wear them as well. That's
that is what they said.
And on top of that, he fired all of his no men. He's got nothing but yes men around.
Yeah, JD still has a job, even though JD's was the one who was supposed to be checking the raps. How does he have?
I can't think he's a big hug and a big kiss like after his win. That's Helenius. I'm just saying.
I read
He did the job.
I read this one.
He's moving on.
Yeah.
All right, so final topic. We got the fight of the year coming up December 3rd. Dereck Chisora versus Tyson Fury.
Oh my
The
God,
big
bro.
press conference was today. Were you guys excited? What do you guys think, man?
I'm going to talk about Shrenika Johnson if I'm honest.
Please.
All right.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather talk about Shanika than that fight as well.
Base, were you at this press conference? Did you cover
You
it?
know, I'd rather see
Nope.
Camboso's Haney 3, if you ask me.
Look, I'll tell you what. I think the most interesting thing about this entire tune-up fight, I don't fault Fury for needing a tune-up fight. I get it. I'm not against that. But for you to choose Chisora, that at least for me is confirmation of what I've always thought. You are not a box office draw, as strange as that might sound. You by yourself are not a box office draw. When you fought Klitschko in front of 56 or 50,000 people, they were there for Klitschko. When you fought Wilder, you guys came together and made that a big fight. But it wasn't just you or just him. It was you guys coming together. And more recently, when you fought Dillian White, I've been saying that's not just Fury fans that are going to that fight. Dillian has fans. He's been on pay-per-view about 4 or 5 times. And his fans would have you believe that, no, it was just Fury. It was just all about Fury. Well, look, it's just about Fury now. If he's that guy, is he going to have trouble selling this fight? It looks like you guys are pissed off that you had to resort to this, that you had to conjure up Chisora to help you sell it. And even with that, people are like, no, bro, we seen this 2 times already. What you do? And you want what? Pay-per-view? Come on. Was it even a pay-per-view the first time y'all fought?
No.
It
Wasn't a pay-per-view the second time either, was it?
That was
Base?
2014, bro. That's just, we're talking about.
It was Box Nation.
And it was
Box
in England too, right?
Yeah.
Where is this going to be? At the Principality base? Or
No, it's at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in North London.
how many
Because
people?
the
is
first
that
one
hold?
was in Wembley.
About
As I recall.
65
60?
to 70, somewhere right. With the floor seats, it'd probably be closer to 65 and a bit.
Are they going to open it up to 70, or is it going to be 65? You think?
Well, they can try and open it up to 70. I don't see it selling out, but you know what? I guess I was wrong on the first one, even though I did see loads of empty seats in the arena. I don't know.
Base, it's going to do a good gate. I believe it'll do a good gate.
It's going to. It's Fury. It's still gonna buy. And listen,
It'll
Fury
do a
has
good
just
gate,
gotten
but
himself to getting some not easy fights, but easy money on the fights.
No,
Let me say this. It'll do okay at the gate. It's the box office. It's the box office where it'll suffer. It's the
there's 2 potential things that actually work against this that didn't work against like the Dillian fight, outside of obviously everyone seeing Chisora twice already and get compensably beaten the last one. But it's December 3rd in an open air stadium which doesn't have a roof like the Principality does. So a lot of people are going to be concerned about, well, is it going to rain? Like, do I want to go out there? It's going to be cold. And then also we got to remember Christmas is then 3 weeks later. Yeah, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So that all of those 3 things there are going to be like, okay, and for a fact these tickets aren't going to be cheap. They're going to be Wembley price tickets. So do you do that before Christmas and New Year's when you only get paid you get paid 2 weeks before the end of the year and then have to wait another 5 weeks before you get paid again? If anyone living paycheck to paycheck. So there's a lot of things that are actually different variables for this fight than there was like in the Dillian White fight where we got the supposed 94,000.
But also Dillian has fans, and that's one of the main things.
94,000, maybe 30,000 Dillian White.
Yeah,
I would say 40,000.
That's exactly what I mean. Like they were acting as if Fury sold that. No, Dillian has fans. A lot of people showed up to see him fight Parker. They sold out the O2 for the Parker fight. A lot of people showed up to see him fight Rivas. He had fans and he helped sell the fight, or at least he had supporters that helped generate revenue for the fight. But this is frivolous. This is completely frivolous.
If it was 1-1, I'd say, okay, let's run it again. But even the last fight, what was it, 10th round? Or
He made him quit.
He quit in the 10th round. So what's the
Well,
point?
to be fair,
I get it. You want a tune-up fight to come back out of
Don
retirement?
Charles and Frank Warren were the ones that called the fight off. Derek Stills wanted to go out. To be fair to Derek.
Yeah. So I mean, it's no new news that Fury wants money, and he had said it. You want me to fight Usyk? I need half $500 million. And I mean, the rich guys will pay it. I mean, the Saudis will pay it. But in this case, you don't have an opponent the caliber of Usyk for people to pay that.
Sorry, can I just say, with regards to this, needing the warm up, tune up everything, that all sounds very, very plausible until you work out, okay, well, if you're fighting Usyk next, Usyk is a 6'3", nimble, southpaw, elusive, evasive. You're going in there against a 6'1" ambush fighter.
I agree.
Who's just going to walk in and basically be a pressure fighter, bull and matador. That's not a tune up for Usyk. So that's where as Ring said, he's looking for someone that's going to be able to help generate the fight.
But then put the people to pay for that kind of crap.
Because if it was a tune-up, you fight a Zan Kosobutsky. You even run it back with Otto Wallin, and you use the narrative. Well, he almost stopped you on
fought Agit Kabayel, base. He should have fought Agit Kabayel because Agit Kabayel. Not to say that he's a carbon copy of Usyk, but he's certainly better preparation for a moving target than Dereck Chisora. Derek's going to bring you the fight. You don't have to find him. With Usyk, you have to find him. You have to find the punches. With Agit, similar thing. Because Agit, look, he's not the most well-known guy, not the best heavyweight, but he manages his distance really well. He makes these subtle movements where he just changes the angle a little bit, pops you in the face. He doesn't hit that hard, but he's decent. And I would have thought, well, if you're preparing for Usyk, Agit Kabayel is better preparation for Usyk than Chisora. You know what you're getting. We all know what we're getting.
Chisora, the only thing he's got, he lasted 12 rounds against Usyk. But if you think about it right now, the real winner of this
are the fans.
Chisora, because he's going to make that money. The retirement, 38 years old. Who knows who's going to fight? How great it is to leave the sport that you love and you put a lot into it with millions. Does that make sense? So he's the clear winner right now in this.
I know he wasn't going to step in there with Otto Wallin again. But look, I don't think he was looking for a tune-up as much as if you look at Fury's track record before the seldom tough fights he's in, the very seldom that he's in, he likes to get the stay busy fight, easy fight in there. I guess just to keep himself going. I don't know what it is, but if they would have sold this as just a stay busy fight, I would have been fine. Like you want to get something in December, okay, that's fine. But here's the issue: is from the very beginning, we knew where this was going, and then he tries to slip in this poison pill filled deal to Anthony Joshua just to use that as an alibi and say, "Hey, I wanted a tough fight here," and then, "Hey, I wanted all these guys, and then I had to pick the top guy on BoxRec left." Like, you're right. The top guy left on BoxRec, Dereck Chisora. He landed on Dereck Chisora. It's like, no, we know the deal to Anthony Joshua wasn't a serious deal. We know it. We know it. Stop trying to do this snake oil salesman job on us. We know what you were trying to do. So if they would have just sold this as a stay busy fight for December, then go to Usyk, fine. But they're trying to use AJ as the alibi, and they're also trying to use AJ, attach him to Clout Chase, attach his name constantly to Clout Chase. What were they talking about in the face-off? They're talking about Anthony Joshua. And Dereck Chisora there, he's like, leave the dude alone. Leave him alone.
Well, Derek said it best. Derek said it best, man. Fury wants to fuck him. He wants to fuck him. That's what it is. He wants to fuck him. There's no way a two-time heavyweight champion who's unbeaten at the height of his powers, at the height of his popularity, chases around a guy that just lost his last two fights. You want to fuck him. He wants to fuck him. I'm not kidding. He's got this weird penis thing going on ever since that IFL interview. He fucking said, "Hey, I think AJ's got a big cock. I wish I had a big cock." Y'all remember that shit?
And he told the UFC champion has a big cock. I don't know what the fuck that's about.
It's very weird. He's calling him,
I don't know what that's about.
Bodybuilder. It's very weird.
With no Vaseline.
But am I lying? The dude's always asking guys about their cocks. He wants to fuck the guy, man. I'm not even kidding.
I'm glad I checked
Oh
out
my God.
the kids when I was doing the video.
I can't even refute this, like, because
Oh,
he does
shit.
that.
Oh,
Like,
all
he's
right,
like, oh,
man.
you got a big cock, huh? You got a big cock. Tell him about your thing. Like,
Under what circumstance do you start thinking about the neighboring boxer's cock? AJ's not even within 50 feet of you guys. You're thinking about his cock.
you never hear these women boxers be like, how tight your clit? How tight your clit?
It doesn't make sense. And when you think about it, it's like, look, I took Fury and AJ out of the situation, and I just thought about it. A champion at the height of his powers.
Tell him you got a big cock.
A champion at the height of his powers and the height of his popularity, would he really be chasing around the guy who lost his last 2 fights? That don't make no sense, bro.
Oh shit.
He wants to fuck. I'm telling you, he wants to fuck him. It's not a fucking. It's weird, man. Yusef Max shit. Fucking wild out here, bro. Fucking wild
He's
out
like,
here.
they don't want it, so I'll just lick their
I
blood.
love you,
Fuck it.
man.
I'll settle for licking their blood. Like, it is what it is.
But these guy wants blood in it, right?
But yo, I'm on Nika Johnson, bro, not on Fury.
This was a like he's using AJ as an alibi, and then he's using AJ to try to sell the fight. He's up on the face-off. Like, think about this? Have you ever seen a face-off where the fighter is talking about another fighter? Constantly. Like, he's constantly doing it. And then the other fighter's like, dude, like, you're fighting me. Leave the other dude alone. Like, you're fighting me.
That's a showman. He's
Kelly, he was fucking Paris. And you know what happened? He's fucking Paris. She says Femi.
Hey, it's the year 2022. You have to be open-minded.
I'm not being close. I'm calling a spade a spade. I think Dereck hit the nail on the head. He wants to fuck him. That's what the shit is, bro. I've never seen this. Look, imagine Floyd at the height of his popularity, still unbeaten, chasing around a fighter with 2 losses, coming off 2 losses. Imagine Canelo at the height of his popularity and his powers, chasing around a fighter coming off 2 losses. Oscar, no, it doesn't happen. And how much it doesn't happen. Like, no, people don't do that. The fact you got Dereck in front of you, and I said it in a video I uploaded that I'm like, yo, he got like an inferiority complex that he keep comparing himself to somebody when you shouldn't have to do that. You unbeaten, right? You got your title, right? You the man, you number 1. So why would you be comparing yourself to him? It don't balance out. And I'm like, no, you notice he got some like single white female type shit going on with this dude. Be like, it's weird shit going on, yo.
Is it maybe that coke?
It could be the coke. It could be the coke because he's back on coke.
He is. Did you see the video?
He's back on coke, y'all. He is
got
back on
interviewed.
coke.
He was,
I love it. There's conspiracy theories flying everywhere tonight. I love it.
I love Fury. He's an entertainment. He entertainer, can't sing shit, but
I'm gonna tell y'all what,
a lot of trash.
You need to pay attention
to the walks, you know. I mean,
you need to pay attention to the grooming patterns of boxers, because if you'll notice, Fury's gone back to the butt face again. Why? I don't think he wants follicle testing. I think he's back on banned substances. I firmly believe this. I'm not even joking. I think he's back on banned substances. If nothing else, he's back on coke because his jaw was ganking at the goddamn fight. The Joyce Parker fight.
No,
he was sweating and he was like,
he's on the female
gum. I've been around a lot. I don't consume, but I've been around and I know. And when I saw the interview, I said to my friends, well, actually, my cousin sent it to me and I've seen it again, but I'm like, it sparked the idea like, damn, this fucking guy is back at it.
Está hueliendo el tipo.
Está, mira, como decimos, empericao.
Ya tú sabes. I'm telling you, bro, he was, when Gareth Davies, jaw ganking. I'm like, yo, he back on coke. Wow.
Well, can I just say this? So, like, when, like, literally, have you seen a meme that says nobody and it's blank? Yeah. And then it's followed by some shit that nobody, like, asked for? Like, really? Chisora. stop ducking the smoke. Like what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like what do you mean he's ducking the smoke? Like Chisora never asked for the fight.
So
Fans aren't asking for this fight.
So no Manuel Char, guys?
Like
No
now granted, it's not as bad as Emmanuel Char. It's not that bad, thankfully. But bro, there's no doubt in my mind, and nobody's gonna want to hear this. We're gonna get a 4th Wilder fight next year.
You think so, really?
Yes, we're getting a 3rd Chisora fight. We're getting a 4th Wilder fight. There's no doubt in my mind.
You didn't hear what he said at the press conference that who wouldn't want a 4th Wilder fight?
I did hear him say that, but I was like, look, he's going to say that, but will Bob, remember, Bob got fucking fleeced paying for those fights. Like, he lost money on those fights.
He wants half $1 million, bro. You can't
But
pay
let me
guy
just say
that
this.
amount of money.
So, like, Tyson Fury has an obsession with dudes' cocks. I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, he meets Ngannou from the UFC. He's like, yeah, you got a big cock. Tell him, do you have a big cock? Like, what the fuck is this dude on about, bro? That's some weird ass shit. That's why I said.
But look, you just meet the guy. He start asking you about your
Like,
cock.
why you asking about his cock, bro? And then like Fury fans will be like, oh, he's playing mind games. He's messing with his mind.
He's trying to play with you guys' balls is what he's trying to play with. He's trying to play with
So
your
that's
balls.
why I said, this is why I said, God bless Trinica Johnson.
Thank
goes
God
like
for
this.
Jamaica.
He goes like this to Francis Ngannou. He goes, "You got a big wall." He goes, "You got a big Wally. You got a big Wally."
Charlie, he asked me he's got a big
Like,
Charlie.
Ngannou was like, bro, what the fuck? Like he's like, what the fuck? Like, what is this? Like, what the fuck, bro?
And you see,
And-
ever since he started asking Ngannou about his cock, now Ngannou doesn't want to fight. You don't hear him talking about the fight. Like, bro, I don't want to fight this dude. Keep asking me about my dick.
So do you think that's why he wants to fight
And
Wilder
Ngannou was like,
again?
I wouldn't fight this dude at
he
MMA.
may
I'd
have-
take him down. He'd be like, oh yeah,
He may
daddy, I
have the big
love
one.
this.
He may have the big
Like, I
stash.
don't know. I don't know what the fuck you
Is
would
that
say.
Wilder may have the big stash? That's why you think he's going to fight him for the fourth time?
He's going back to him for a reason.
By the way, really quick, this fight's trash. It's all seriously, like, it's trash. It's a waste of time. You already beat this dude twice. You embarrassed him the second time. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? It's a waste of
one of the
time.
worst trilogies ever. Like,
I
yes.
think so. I mean, as far as trilogies go, this is arguably the worst. I can't think of a worse one.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
The last one, the
Well,
last
Beeb,
fight was
Beeb,
fantastic.
I hope
It got
Chisora
us-
knocks your boy out. I'm just
mean-
telling you, like, I hope it fucking happens. I hope he lands a shot from the gods and knocks this dude out. I'm just telling you, it's not going to happen,
Yeah,
but I
then
hope
you
it
don't
happens.
Then you don't get to see Fury Usyk. Don't you want to see Fury Usyk?
I'll see Chisora Usyk too. Fuck it.
You already saw Chisora Usyk.
I'll see it second time. Fuck it.
That's not
Well,
Look,
they say Chisora gave him his hardest fight at heavyweight, right? So cool,
It-
isn't it?
Well, I
we'll
think-
run
well,
with
even
the Frank
Usyk said
Warren
it.
Queensbury narrative, won't we?
Even
I
Usyk
just
recently,
hope he
he'd
knocks
rather
your
go
boy
down
out.
and,
That's all I'm saying. I just hope it's not going to happen. I'm not holding my breath or nothing, but I hope Chisora lands the miracle shot of the century and knocks his dude out. I'm just being honest.
Capricorn shot, the Capricorn shot. That's what we're talking about. The great
Yeah.
Capricorn shot.
What
I
is it?
just hope-
Rotman Lennox Lewis?
There you go. There you go.
Whatever you want to call it, I hope it fucking happens.
Tower is down. Boom.
You know what I'm saying?
Bob was setting the stage. Bob was like, "Yeah, remember when Tommy Morrison won the WBO title from Foreman? Then he went in there with Michael Benton. Michael Benton knocked him out in one round
He
and
bent him.
prevented the fight with Lennox Lewis."
Tommy Morrison, another Capricorn, the Duke.
I've never cheered for underdog this bad. I hope Chisora knocks his ass out. It's not going to happen, but I hope it happens.
I just hope he looks past them and doesn't train, and then maybe we got a shot. If he doesn't train and he doesn't take the fight seriously, maybe we got a shot. You know, nobody expected Leon Spinks to do what he did to Ali. You know, Teofimo didn't expect that George was going to be ready for him. Teofimo was
You're
asleep.
talking my language now. Let's go, Chisora. Let's go.
I doubt it. I really doubt it. I'm still going to
I
be
hope
a
Chisora
gypsy
picks
king.
him up and slams him on the table and then glasses his ass. That's what I hope happens.
Take a poll on the panel. Who wants Dereck Chisora to win?
Want? Oh, I want him to win.
I want him to win badly.
Raise your hand, Beeb. Raise your hand, Beeb. Come on.
Tyson Fury to win. All right, and Vivo.
I'm just
And
saying,
Vivo!
I don't give a shit. I don't want. I mean, it's not a fight I want to see. We'll end up being sucked into it.
I hope he
and we'll be
loses,
talking
bro.
about it. And
I
then we'll be
hope
breaking
fucking.
down
I hope
about it.
Chisora lands a fucking shot of the gods. I hope he does.
You know what's crazy though?
Chisora's gonna have a lot of fans there, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you
That's
know
why
what,
I
B?
think that's why I think the gate is going to do well, because unofficially they haven't billed it as this, but unofficially the consensus is this is a swan song. This is a farewell fight.
The sentimental favorite right now.
The gate is built upon the undercard, and the Dylan White Fury undercard was crap.
But
So-
this one's actually okay. Look,
Yeah,
Daniel
this one-
Dubois versus Kevin Lorena. It's not
Okay.
a bad fight. It's not a bad fight. That's okay.
I haven't seen the undercard yet. I haven't seen anything. I knew today broke the news and shit out that they're going to. There was speculations about it, right? But I thought really we were going to be able to see Joshua and Fury. That was my hope, right? That I would be able to see that.
I'm with Cali X on this one. I didn't think that was a good faith offer. I think that was I honestly believe that was a marketing tactic. You sent him, and you were negotiating in a way where a fight doesn't happen because that was your marketing angle. Let me shame Joshua so
But
I can
maybe
sell him.
setting it up for what could happen. The winner gets to go against.
Oh,
No, it wasn't. It just wasn't real, bro. Like, you got to understand. Look, the Joshua kid. We can say what we want about his ability, but he is a brand and he is a business. He is not your run-of-the-mill voluntary challenger. You cannot treat him like that. You won't get a fight doing that, and you know that. You know he has corporate sponsorships with anyone from Hugo Boss to Range Rover. You're not dealing with a normal fighter, and if you pretend you are, you're essentially negotiating in bad faith because you know better. You know this kid's worth money, even without a belt.
He wanted an alibi, and he basically wanted to say, "Well, I'm only fighting Chisora because AJ didn't want to fight me." So that's just the reason what the whole thing was happening. I mean, it's pretty obvious. That's why he keeps talking about AJ. And again, I mean, he is using AJ to try to promote this fight. I mean, it is.
I mean, we're still talking
I
about
just
AJ.
hope. I just hope Chisora knocks it. It's not going to happen, obviously, but I hope I'm wrong.
We'll be watching.
I
If
wanna
that
see it.
happens, I'm really gonna. At
Bro,
that point, it's
I
gonna
might
be
have to go streaking if that shit happens, bro.
I know.
I hope it happens. But are you hoping it happens?
People are gonna wonder what the hell's going on, but I'll know when I go
I don't
streaking.
think it's gonna happen. It's a waste of time, and I know myself. I'll be spending some money.
Are you going to go streaking
Booze
with
is okay,
Shane
but the fucking pay-per-view, that's
anyway,
what
I'm
pisses
going to let
me
that
off.
go.
I'm gonna do it at night. I live in the country, so I'm gonna do it at night when nobody's around. But I'm gonna
And God bless
Shanik
Johnson.
Sugar Neeks, man.
We're going to see Black Adam tomorrow, man. That DC movie. I'm looking forward to that one.
Look, honestly, the Rock movies kind of suck. To be honest with you, a lot of his movies suck.
You know,
Well, I mean,
I like the rundown. I like Walking Tall.
Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is in this one.
Look, come on.
I mean, it wasn't that bad. If you're expecting a big action movie, you can't expect
You got
that much
Hawkman
action.
in there?
with
You
Dwayne
got
Johnson.
Hawkman?
But I mean, if you expect a guy that he's attractive to a lot of different fan base, and then he's got a huge popularity, whether he WWE and all that, Dwayne Johnson, he's gonna do good in every movie. He's just not a believable actor like a like a Tom Cruise on a fucking Top Gun.
Manny, you know what he is to me? He's The Rock in a black leotard, because that's how I look at the act. Like he's still The Rock.
Don't add
Black
blood to that
leotard.
shit, because these style will
in a black leotard, bro. It's still The Rock, bro. It's the same dude. It's still The Rock.
Don't let Tyson Fury go see that film.
I just
either.
need the peep to say, God bless Shanika Johnson.
God bless you, Johnson.
Yay.
God bless you.
And don't let Tyson Fury go see that film either. He might start talking about rocks and other
Right.
stuff.
He's gonna ask him if he's got a big quarry.
What about Sunday, the House of Dragon finale? You guys looking forward to that? Just watching the House of Dragon.
I'm gonna watch Halloween Ends, man. That's what I'm gonna be doing.
I saw that
I haven't
on
watched
Monday,
it.
actually.
Don't give me the synopsis. Just tell me, is it good?
I wouldn't say it's good, but it's watchable.
Is it I? Is it I?
You probably prefer it. Actually, no, you might not like it as much as the last one, which you really liked, but you can still watch it. Like, you know,
Oh, it sucks.
Do a lot of people get killed?
What's that one?
Oh yeah.
Well,
There's,
that's what's
there's
important.
some really
It's-
gruesome ones
it's
as well.
aight.
Right up
It's
your
aight.
alley. Some
It's
really-
aight.
What is the title of that
It's
one?
all right.
Out of the three, which is the best one?
UK dudes need the eye.
Probably the
They don't have
second.
a night. Is it eye?
Yeah, we say aight. It's
All right.
aight. Cool.
Out of the three, which out of that trilogy
The second one. The second
is the
one.
best one? Where's the third?
I'd say it's just under the first. So it's the worst of the three, but it's still decent.
All right.
Like I said, there's some very gruesome deaths. You'll like it. You'll be like, okay, I want to see that.
No.
It's good. And they make sense. They're not just gratuitous, but they make sense.
I'll
That's
be
good.
finishing Squid Game tonight, so I'll go into that.
That's good.
All right, guys, we got another one in the books. Thank you tonight. Thank the panel. This was a great
God
show.
bless
tonight.
Kaminga Johns.
Went off the rails a little bit, but that's what we do. That's what
We all
do
got
over
that one box of D Styles. We all got that one. It's like, oh my god, oh my god.
Bernice
I'm saying she's short
Anissa
hard, that's all I'm
Estrada.
saying.
Ah.
All right, guys, have a good one, man. Be good.
All right,
That's the
vivo.
one. That's up,
Adios.
Chuck.
Wapa.
Oh man.